Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This video is going to be another episode of SNTR Gaming News talking about the New World server merges update that they put in their patch notes. They went dark for, I don't even know, 6 days or so on Twitter, and we've got that update in those patch notes to discuss, and it's not looking very good for those that were hoping that server mergers were around the corner. Now, we open up the video here at the beginning with essentially what you're looking for. The video that you have clicked on is a past broadcast live stream if you didn't catch me live, so it is a little bit longer than a typical video, but I do try to put the important parts right here at the beginning. This is an SNTR update. New World server mergers update has landed, but not in the substantive way that people were hoping. If you are in a low population server or a server whose population is dwindling, this is not good news for the moment. If you like these SNTR updates, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss my uploads, or check out SNTR Gaming where I streamed this live. So, this is what they had to say. I'm not kidding, exaggerating, or being funny. This is what they had to say about server mergers. They said, technical groundwork for server merges. That's it. That is all they said. They went silent for 6 days on Twitter after dealing with economy issues in the EU, where they were giving people like 300 to 500,000 gold and had to roll back those servers because it destroyed the economy on those servers. So server merges, if you're not aware of what they are, it's where they take low population servers and combine them. Now, there's so many questions that we have about what this will look like. What about the territory control? What about your companies? What about all of those things that have not really been outlined at this moment? You already kind of know what grouping that you're in if you look, and who you might be merged with. The other question is, what about servers that are low pop or dwindling populations right now? What happens if the population surges when there's a DLC or an update? So what's the problem right now? If you've not been paying attention, the New World population has been in decline, which is generally normal and not that worrisome. However, it's declining in different ratios depending on the server that you're on. If you're on a very populated server like the server that I am on, which is Eden, it's not really a problem to see the numbers dip a little bit. And the main function of New World gameplay is to feel like you're in a living world with a vibrant trade house, a booming economy, consistent wars, invasions, and fights. And when that starts happening to a lesser and lesser degree, the economy itself will fold in on itself, and engagement will then expedite its decline. People will sort of leave because people are leaving, if that makes sense. It kind of compounds itself, and then you need to bring servers together so that they can flourish. I think the challenge for this will be not necessarily taking two low population servers and slapping them together, but maybe just absorbing a low pop server into a medium sort of healthy server. We don't want high population servers absorbing small. That would not be helpful. It's probably going to be better to take a more middle of the road server that is healthy and in decline, and take some of these very, very small servers and bring them in. Now, this affects the future because, as I said at the beginning of the video, if suddenly there is a surge of re-interest and people come back, you could throw a merged server into overpopulation. Now, that seems unlikely given the player base numbers and how they have predictably gone down, but you do not know what a substantive DLC, map expansion, or change to the game might bring. So right now, if you are on a server that is shrinking or has been in a sharp decline, it's very, very difficult to play and enjoy. Everything is attached to a healthy and vibrant player base. The trade house, the town boards, the economy itself, all of it hinges on players being engaged for long periods of time. It's one thing to say, I'm playing less, but when people play less and then actually disengage and they don't log in for extended period of times on that server, that just slows everything down, and then people feel sort of stuck. They have already maybe moved their character. That's another thing that is in question. What about people who have moved their characters and suddenly they're going to get merged and they've done all this territory work? So at the moment, not a significant update from New World on server merges. Very minimal information has been given, and we're just left with more questions. If you like this SNTR update, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll see the rest of you right now. We've obviously been covering New World pretty regularly, for the time that we've been playing it, and this is an ongoing problem, and part of the narrative is that the server populations are dropping, and when and how are they going to take action? I think is a fair question. And they went silent for 6 days, and their update was basically like, "Hey, we're getting ready." We would assume that you're getting ready. We would assume that this is on the horizon somewhere. Because if not, why else would people be continuing to play? There has to be an amount of trust from the player base with respect to should I continue playing? Like, is my server over? Is it done? Should I bother? Like, why should I log in this week? Why should I log in today if the server decline is just sort of being a little bit ignored? I think that's one of the problems, right? Oh, you're trying to get a PS5 scuff, Eugene? Nice. What do you think of the Turklen the World boss? My server is dying. All our big companies are disbanding. Right, and I think that's the issue, is that once it starts, you kind of can't stop it, right? Once the decline begins, it just sort of starts compounding on itself, right? Because people are like, well, it's slow, the economy's bad, or oh, this company left, or that company left, or all my people left. Well, then you're going to leave. And then if you leave, then somebody else leaves. Like, it's almost like a pyramid scheme of Exodus kind of a thing. Like, for every one person that leaves, there's probably another 3 people that feel like, well, I'm going to leave as well. Because, my friends left, my company disbanded, or the territory control flipped on us because Purple left the server or whatever. They made my crafting goals 25% harder, and it really demotivated me. How do I trust the devs at this point? That's a totally fair question. I do. I think that's a fair thing to ask. Like, how do I trust, because a game like New World, it's ongoing investment. It's a lot of your time to just be like, well, why should I bother continuing? We don't know what the plan is. We don't know what the game plan is. We don't even know what the ongoing content plan or rhythm is, because they've been too busy shutting down the trade house to really outline that. And I it's hard to fault them for some of this. A lot of this is user-generated problems, but user-generated problems typically come from a lack of foresight about what users can do within your game. They mentioned they have to put in the framework for mergers with the patch. I'd rather them take their time than rush and mess everything up. And I am in agreement with that, Christina. I'm not saying, hey, hurry it up, just rush it. I'm trying to bring the voice of the frustrated player to the forefront to say, man, you guys are dragging your feet on this. This was needed 2 weeks ago, and now instead of saying we're ready to rock and roll, they're like, oh, we're adding framework. Like, what? No, you should have a timeline for merges right now. This is old news. All my coworkers left, and now I got to do all the work without extra pay. Why should I stay? Right. One thing I like is all the weekly patches. I do think they've done a good job updating and refining the game in quick order, but I think the worry would be, similarly to some of the narratives surrounding Cyberpunk, when the list is so long, it's hard to feel the impact, right? Thanks for the stream. Thanks, Mason. Guys, it's a new stream, so make sure you switch to live chat and make sure you slam that thumbs up. Give us our first 100 likes. If you're just tuning in, the New World server merges update from the patch notes essentially being they've laid groundwork. That's it. No, I've not hit 60 yet. I was going to try and play a little bit today on the back half of the stream. The experience for leveling up crafts was increased, which sucks, but at least you're not a furnishing crafter who didn't receive an increase in experience, but is still the most experienced to level up. They do need to fine-tune some of them. They really do. They gave us a timeline of January, I believe. My server is a dying one. I remind myself to be patient and take advantage of not having to fight for resources. there are definitely pros and cons to having a server that's not overrun with, carnivorous players or bots. That, I mean, sure. I don't think January is timely enough, Christina. I don't think I'm being unfair. I don't. I can appreciate somebody being patient and charitable, and I believe we have been that. The game launched September the 28th. We got through, October, and we've gotten through November, okay? Now is the time. December is the time for server merges. January is way too late. This doesn't need, and here's the issue. It shouldn't need great care and framework. They knew when the game launched that this would be necessary. It's like building a house and being like, oh man, we got to go back through and rip open the drywall to put in the electrical. What do you mean? You knew that electrical was going to be needed. Why wouldn't it have been put in first? Why wouldn't you have built these servers and the framework and the foundation for the mergers to be pretty easy? Right? A server merger should be difficult in choice and result, not in execution. Do you see the distinction I'm drawing? Like, the execution of a server merger shouldn't be a challenge. They knew when the game launched that this would happen. Potentially worried about Christmas noobs? Okay, I mean, that's not a bad theory. They're worried about an influx of Christmas players that could potentially overwhelm servers that right now are dying. Maybe they're going to try and funnel all new players to the low pop servers, I guess. I'm not as worried about the server mergers right now, says Akuta Papa. I'm far more concerned about the bots on the servers. If they don't get taken care of, then the rest of the servers will get even more inundated with bots. They don't want to flood servers and mergers. It's possible that it's a delicate balance. I mean, Sinos is saying Endwalker. Sure. New World server merges may be literally put on hold until Christmas and Endwalker have had their effect on the game. And then they'll go in and say, okay, now is when we can make a very, very educated decision. Never thought about Christmas players. I hadn't really thought about them either. I mean, for the price point, there could be a significant push. They could do like a Christmas event, with like they did with Thanksgiving, and obviously put it on sale, throw it on the forefront of Steam, and get a bunch of people to buy and log in. I mean, look at what Cyberpunk did. I mean, in the last 30 days, Cyberpunk got like 25,000 reviews on Steam, and that's Cyberpunk. New World had a significantly greater interest in it when it launched, which means if they do some kind of a holiday sale, you could be looking at, hundreds of thousands of people diving in for the very first time. I logged on last night and there was under 200 people on mine. Oof, that hurts. I'm going to add Christmas noobs to my vocabulary. Use it at totally inappropriate times. Man, the cost of grass is crazy. Yeah, Christmas noobs, man. That's right. That's these Christmas noobs, dude. People are like, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Like, I think you know. Oh, it is. It's already 20% off right now. Okay. Someone on a busy server is not going to be concerned with the merge since it doesn't affect them. Well, and I am trying to be... That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to say, hey, like, my server's doing great, but that's not fair to the rest of you. Like, well, it doesn't matter. This is fine. But no, it does matter. This isn't necessary. I wouldn't say this is fine. Like, having a patient posture is admirable, but that doesn't mean that this is fine. I think there's a difference. You wouldn't be asking me that if it wasn't for the Christmas noobs. That's right. You're asking me that makes me think you might be a Christmas noob. They're like, what's a Christmas noob? I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something a Christmas noob would say. They would be so irritated and confused. It would be such a cocktail of emotions. They would be like offended that you're calling them something, but they don't really know what it is. They don't know why you're calling them that. So they'd be both like irritated, offended, and curious. Like, why are you calling me this? Christmas noob jokes are inappropriate at inappropriate times. What a Christmas noob. People have had an opportunity to swap to high population servers. Okay, Grumpy, but that I don't accept that though. Just because you've been given the opportunity to swap, there are people who already swapped and then their server started to trend into the low population. It's not like every single person that used their free server swap made the right choice. There are plenty of people that swap servers to be with their buds or their friends or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're like, man, our server's dying. I'm 100% with you, Lono, but if I don't try to keep my patience, I'd lose my... Well, fine. I mean, regulating your own internal, posture about it, that's totally fine. I'm not even coming off the hinges here. I'm just like, come on, man, what are y'all doing, I moved to this server and then the pop went down. Right, there. Okay, so Christina is a perfect example of what I was pushing back on. Christina has used her server swap, and then the server she's on, the population went down. She can't be faulted for that, Well, you had the chance to move. Well, time to move again, spend some money. That's not a solution. That's an option. That's a monetized option. They also have had a list of low, medium, and high. Right, and when you join a server, it's not like it says, hey, in 3 weeks, this is going to be a low pop server. A lot of people joined medium servers because they didn't want to go into a server that could potentially be high or have queues at peak time. Makes perfect sense for somebody to say, in the grand scheme of things, the most appealing server, the most appealing New World server is medium population. And it's very easy for a medium population to slip into low and slip into declining, right? They should have done server merges before Into the Void. Into the Void felt very out of turn. It did. When is the mergers planned? They've not said. They said they laid the framework this week with their update. And Christina says she thinks she heard them say something about January. I feel like that's way too far away. But then people were like, well, what about Christmas noobs? Brand new players who are going to buy the game due to a holiday sale or just due to the holiday in general to jump in for the very first time. That could be a factor in them waiting for January. Endwalker, Final Fantasy Endwalker could also be playing a part in the New World server merges update not happening anytime soon. Everyone had knowledge of the state of the game. You're not saying anything new. Everyone having knowledge of the state of the game has no bearing on someone saying, I'm going to go play on a different server. I'm going to pick a medium population server. There are medium population servers right now that are still medium population. There was no way for someone to have the foresight to know that if they moved, that server in 2 to 3 weeks could lead to a low or in decline or dying server. You're saying things that are that really don't have any bearing on the discussion. Interesting video pertaining to debates. Okay, I'll check that out if I have time. I've been trying to listen to stuff in the morning. The first rule of Christmas noobs is we never define Christmas noobs. I was in a lowish population server, then a whole company joined and took over the best territories. Yikes. That's another thing that can happen. You have no control over people suddenly flooding your server. Like, imagine, okay, so I'm on Eden. All right. Therefore, could have expected a drop? No. Expecting a drop is an assumption you're making now that you have the knowledge that it happened. You're cheating. If I look at a medium population server that has regular engagement on that one website, by the way, New World doesn't tell you anything other than low, medium, high. It doesn't actually show you the rhythm of the players, right? So it's not a reasonable expectation that if you pick a medium population server that in a matter of weeks it's going to be in decline and dying. There are right now medium population servers that haven't declined. They're just maintaining healthy engagement. There are so many intangibles. You can't see the map. As an example, my server, Eden, I had no control over this. My server got flooded with purple. With, what is that, Syndicate? Got flooded with Syndicate. Okay? Flooded with Syndicate. That's great for me. What if it wasn't great for me? What if Marauders had owned our map for a couple of weeks? What if just a bunch of Marauders came onto our server and tipped it over topsy-turvy and we dropped into medium and then low population because of that influx of players? How am I supposed to foresee that? Over 2,000 reviews saying bad reviews. It adds up though. I'm not now you're not I'm not connecting dots with what you're saying. Bro, you should have surveyed every player on that server to see if they planned on playing for 6 more months. Yeah, I'm on Eden, giant ticker overhead. People will come in and ask what server you're on, so I mean, I consistently have to say it anyway. I can see the argument. We can agree to disagree. No, we cannot agree to disagree. I don't agree to disagree. You're wrong. That agreeing to disagree is like you like Pepsi and I like Coke, right? And somebody might say, well, that you can still be wrong about that. No, we're not agreeing to disagree here. You're wrong. You are claiming that players should have known what would happen on a server they were moving to. That is a false statement. There was no way for people to know that. Players are not responsible for monitoring the population of servers and predicting the trajectories and the outcomes of those populations. That is not an imperative or a responsibility on the player. Because it happened to you, I'm wrong? No, it didn't happen to me. You're not listening because you're too busy grinding an axe and you can't hear over the axe grinding. I am on a healthy, high population server, so try to keep up. I'm not arguing from bias. I'm arguing for people that are not in my scenario. My scenario is great. A healthy server with great territory distribution. I'm arguing for the people who are on low population servers, and those low population servers, they had no control over that or the ability to know that it was going to happen. That's what I'm taking up for. The game hinges on your server having people on it. The game itself, the substance of the game. I do run an axe. You're taking it in stride. I like you. You're taking my passion in stride, which shows that you're a strong person. A lot of people will be like, he's mean. The substance of this game. For the game to be good and enjoyable, you can't have the server be in decline. The economy dies, the trade house stuff doesn't happen, there's nobody to fight with, the territory's just gonna slant to one side. Now, Christina's pointed out there are some benefits. You're not going to fight over nodes. You can start to hoard and kind of prepare for server merges, but you can't do that for very long, right? Can't do that for very long. He's retiring after 8 seasons, and he's launching his esports organization. Yeah, well, I don't think very highly of him or most of the people in that organization. A lot of them are opportunistic scum. When did frankness become meanness? You are mean, though, Lono, when you want to be. No. Being irritable and snippy is not mean. It's contextual to the moment. If you tease me after I stub my toe and I yell at you, I'm not being mean. No, not 100 Thieves. I don't have any issues with 100 Thieves. My server has an average of under 100 players. It's very boring. Did they say an ETA on server mergers? Well, thanks for being here, Alexandre. No, they didn't. They didn't. And that's what I am taking up for and expressing irritation for the people who are on low pop servers because this has been too long. My issue is very simple. My issue is very, very simple. They knew mergers were going to be a necessity. I need an explanation for why you're not doing it. If it's that, we have to prepare. No, that's not an acceptable response. It's not. This should have already been outlined and ready. You don't launch an MMORPG without server merger architecture already put in place. You don't. Now, we've had some good theories, and if they were to come out and say that, hey, we are anticipating an influx of players in December, and we don't think server mergers are timely right now, that doesn't make it any more enjoyable to people who are on a low pop server, but at least they know what the frick is going on. Do you see? Like, if you're waiting for a long time to get into your favorite restaurant and they come out and explain what's going on, it doesn't make it any more enjoyable. Like, yay, I'm happy to wait now. But you're like, at least we know. Like, there was a fire in the kitchen. It's been handled. And that has led to a delay in food production. And we're now able to speed back up, and we'll get you seated momentarily, or we'll get you seated in the next 20 minutes or something. That information is like, it makes it palatable. It doesn't fix the fact that you're starving and standing outside the restaurant, but you're like, well, at least I know what's going on now, right? They're understaffed. Somebody quit. They had somebody got hurt and had to leave. Whatever. So if Amazon came down, you know, from the tower, from their kingdom or whatever, and they said, hey, listen, we understand that server merges are desperately needed right now for some of the lower population servers, and we are obviously, you know, wanting to work toward that, okay? But we are anticipating an influx of players in December, and we think server mergers could create more problems than it's worth. Trebellion with a membership. Thank you so much to the lot of new subs today. A lot of likes. Press like and subscribe. It is free to subscribe. We do a talk show like this Monday through Friday. We did a double feature talk show most this week. This morning we talked about Halo Battle Pass. Right now we're talking about New World Server Merges update. And if you enjoy this kind of content, it's like video game radio. I am safe for work, so you can subscribe in confidence and throw me on in the background throughout your day. Pressing like is free. It helps the video. Pressing subscribe is also free, and you can enjoy the talk show throughout the week. If you want to support directly like Trebellion did with a membership, that is great, and we love to see that. You get an emote, you get badges, you get increased access in our Discord, and it supports the channel directly with a paid membership. New World needs a strong community manager. Hamish would be amazing here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the community manager presence. I see a Twitter account, but I don't see much else other than that. And I agree with you. I always liked Hamish. He was a very good dude. He was good at that job. He was better than most. Menacing Mommy's Spotify Wrapped, Billie Eilish at the top. Man, she is beautiful, isn't she? I don't know why people were making fun of what she looks like. I think she is beautiful. I don't get it at all. I saw some guy mocking her looks on Twitter. I'm like, brother, you gotta get your eyes checked. What the frick's the matter with you? What do you think will bring players back? I think the number one thing that would bring players back, the number one thing, it isn't content. It isn't DLC. It's a content map. It's a content map. That's more important. That sounds weird to say. But a content map. Because a content map does two things. It sets expectations, and it gives you a reason to invest and play. You're preparing. You're getting ready, right? The content map, in some respects, is more important than the content itself. Now, I don't want to overstate that. The content's got to be good. It's not like a content map's going to save the game and then the content can be crap. But you need a content map. If you knew right now there was some big thing coming in January, that gives you a frame to work within. Oh, I'm going to get ready for that. I'm going to spend a couple of play sessions or weeks or whatever in December leading up to January. I'm going to get ready. Like, Into the Void was nice, but it was like, this just kind of came out of nowhere. And it's just a weapon and just random stuff done to the map. It was kind of like an event, a little bit. It wasn't that impactful. And truth be told, it probably did more damage than good. Because what it does is it brings people back and they play and they're like, but you just nerfed a bunch of stuff and you changed a bunch of stuff and all you really did was you added this weapon and then you made some changes to the map as far as like there's new enemy types or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What's the news on server merges? So Drew, they announced that they have laid the groundwork or the foundation for server merges. Like that's literally all they said. They went dark for 6 days because of the holiday. They came up for air, and that's what we got. And I'm expressing my concern and disappointment, you know? What about a level increase from 60 to 80? A level increase doesn't matter without a content plan. Do you see? The content plan puts it all together. It's like, you're like, oh yeah, 60 to 80. Why? Well, why do I do that? Why do I care? A content map might make you care. It would give you a sense of direction and vision in what's happening, and a sense of like, oh, it's time to go back, or oh, I'll go back in a week or two and get ready. Without a content map, it's like we're all just sort of sitting here like, what's next? I hate content maps. In today's development landscape, so many things get canceled or pushed back. Maps set expectations that likely get disappointed due to delays. I don't agree with that. Don't make me bring them up, but I'm going to bring them up. Destiny's content maps weren't like that. You weren't like, what? Why didn't this happen? No. A lot of times their content maps were pretty thin and people got angry, but it's like, I'd rather know accurately what's coming, thin or not, than be like, we have no idea what's going to happen. Level increase has to be associated with content. That's exactly right. Even if you do a level increase in anticipation of new content, that makes perfectly good sense. Instead of, you can just grind to 80 now. Why? If you knew content was coming that was going to require that, well, then you tether your mind to the plan. Again, I think I'm telling you, the most important thing right now from New World is a content map. Even if it's zoomed out and kind of generic, it's something. Because this is what the game feels like right now. The game feels like right now, everybody's holding their breath, hoping that their pain point gets patched. Well, that's going to happen in due time. Right? It's going to work. That's going to work itself out in due time. So if you're hanging your hat and you're hinging your enjoyment on that thing getting fixed, the longer it takes for it to get fixed, the more your patience wears thin. While you're waiting for that thing to get fixed, if you know, here are things that are going to be happening in the game, there are things out in the distance that are going to be happening, it creates confidence in the midst of the waiting and the frustration. Right now, there's nothing to foster that confidence. It's why the bottom's kind of starting to give out and fall and like break. The population floor, the bottom of the box is gonna give way here. I mean, we can look at the Steam charts. The confidence will wane and drop. This is concerning. The 24-hour peak in the last 24 hours. Now, maintenance could have affected this. Okay, maintenance could have affected this. So let's go back a day. November the 29th. 145,000 player peak. I said if they start dropping below 150,000 player peaks, that's when you should be concerned. That's when you're going to have more and more servers hitting untenable numbers, and that leads to more exodus. It's like the further down you go down the slope, the faster it can get. These numbers, they're not stabilizing, they are declining. Stabilizing in the 150,000 peaks and above, that's good. You drop below 150,000 and above, and now you're having an expedited exodus because servers are getting too vacant. People can't do the things that they want to do. Do a quarterly outline, very high level items, and release quarterly outlines. Something. My server got a max of 300 people on the weekends. I could get behind zoomed out and generic. Yeah, I'm not saying super specific, Kaganeko, because you're not wrong in that you're not wrong, because you could certainly do more harm than good by being like, we're gonna do this, and then you don't do it. That's right for that's gas on a fire. That's gas on a smoldering building, right? You see more bots than players. Yeah, I mean, the cannibalistic nature of this game was something that I was concerned about. Before this game came out, I said there were two things that concerned me greatly, and it was the centrality of PvP and the trade house, and what have been the two most painful pieces of the game, the trade house and PvP. They've caused the lion's share of the problems. Imbalance, exploits, and duping and all of that. It's all linked to PvP and the trade house. The two things that I was most concerned about have been the single greatest degenerate cannibalistic pieces of the game. Before it came out, I said, oh, you better be frickin' ready. An actual trade house where people can trade? Okay. All right. A real economy? A living, breathing, non-manipulated economy driven by players? Okay. You better be ready. PvP? Really? Flagging for PvP? There's griefing, there's exploits, there's cheating, there's all that comes with it. And then they talked about PvP player advantages and power advantages, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are just putting cracks in the boat before it goes out to water. And here we sit. Now, crafting is a sticking point too. Right, I don't even know why they messed with that. Why leave the PvE homies alone. Leave the PvE guys alone. They're the glue, you know? They're the glue right now. They're the PvP people. I mean, they're not the glue. They're either degenerate, cannibalistic, or gone. Like, that's pretty much where we are right now. There's not a lot of health, I wouldn't think, in the PvP community. Now, on the healthier servers where territories are swapping, sure. But on a lot of those servers that drove themselves to low pop, I guarantee you it was degenerate, cannibalistic PvP behavior that was a part of it. Not the whole, but it was definitely a part of it. Do you think it has a good enough core to survive a Realm Reborn sort of reboot? Would a major update expansion bring people back? So, my confidence in this game at the moment, my confidence in this game is not grounded or rooted in any of the decisions that they're making, because their decisions are wobbly. They're quick, they're responsive, but some of their decisions are just wobbly. It's like, what are y'all doing? All right. Their foresight with respect to exploits and having to shut down the trade house as often as they've had, that's not, my confidence is not grounded in that at all. My confidence in this game is grounded in the gameplay, the content loop, the tedious and the monotonous and the repetitious just feels good in this game, and that is such a catalyst to loyalty and engagement. I've drawn this comparison to Destiny many times. A very bad launch, a very bland game, a very empty game, a very troubled game, and yet when the gameplay was so satisfying, that carried it. So my confidence in New World has nothing to do with the state of the game now or the devs. It's the content loop. So, to answer your question, Ashton, yes. If they somehow get to a place where they can do this massive, big, very, very good update that really, like, rubs the paddles together and kaplunk, it just brings the game screaming back to life, then yes. Because people will remember how good it felt. Have you ever heard my theory on Anthem and why people were so angry and oddly committed to Anthem? What was it? It wasn't BioWare. No, I don't buy that theory for a minute. It was the content loop. It felt good. There wasn't another game where I could play and have that kind of content, that kind of combat. The combat and the content loop in Anthem is why people were almost immediately passionate and angry and just inexplicably loyal. It didn't make any sense. the content loop. Look at the New World Reddit and the forums and anybody ever talking about it on Twitter. You know, look at the people that come here and talk about it. It's because of the content loop. It's the content loop has done that to your brain. It's like, this is good. I enjoy this. Please fix it. When Mellow Mushroom closed down in our city, it was devastating to my family. Why? My daughter has an egg allergy. It was one of the few places we could go to every week, every Tuesday. We'd be at Mellow. I'd have a Narragansett and some pizza, and it was wonderful. And it closed down. Oh, it was devastating. Why? Well, it was very specific to us and very enjoyable. So when a game is super enjoyable and you really, really like it, you almost take it personal when it's not functioning well. Like, this was becoming my new hobby. This was becoming my new leisure activity, you know, for the evenings. Did they announce server merges? Saul, they said that they have laid the foundation for server merges. That's all they said. And I've been very vocally today expressing my disappointment in the timing and the lack of clarity. I said, listen, if they want to wait until January and they have legitimate reasons as to why, some people have theoried that, like, there'll be an influx of Christmas noobs. We're saying that with love in our heart. Christmas noobs, is that a factor? If it is, then just tell us that, right? See, this was something that always drove the Destiny community crazy. Bungie's silence was infuriating to them because it was like, just tell us what's going on, right? And to their credit, I think they've gotten much better with their twabs and their blogs and their updates, okay? New World, to their credit, I think has been good and transparent, and they've been great on communication. And just all of a sudden, kind of not. The 24th of November was their last tweet until yesterday when they tweeted out the blog. And then I read the blog and the patch notes and I was like, this is it? This is all you have to say? I feel like player population and server merges is a front burner issue, and it's a bullet point in your patch notes, and the bullet point is that you're getting ready? That would be like your house being on fire and like sending out a memo and being like, we're going to be working on the lawn, expanding the kitchen, and then a little bullet point. We're getting ready to call the fire department. The frick? What do you mean you're getting ready to call the fire department? The house is on fire. Population decline is here. Servers are dying. And it's a bullet point that you're getting ready to do it? That's what I'm taking issue with. I don't understand. Help me understand. That's my request. Come on. Help me understand why this has not happened yet. Why the foundation wouldn't have already been laid for this. You knew before September 28th that server mergers would be a requirement. So there shouldn't be a need to build the foundation. It should already be there. It should already be there. Where can you get this sweater? I don't know. What's that saying? I think that says Old Navy. I got this last year, though. I got this last year. Why does it bother you that they haven't said anything for 6 days and then they didn't just say the things to say it? If they don't have anything substantial to say, why would they say it? Okay. No, that's a fair question. I don't expect a developer to be like, hey guys, just want to say hello and good morning and, you know, happy Tuesday to you. No, I'm not saying that. Like, I understand waiting to say something until you have something substantive to say. But you have to read the room, okay? And this is what I mean. It's a significant problem right now. You know, population decline, and and servers that are low population is a serious problem right now. You need to speak to that. Even if speaking to it is simply this: we hear you and acknowledge how frustrating low population servers are right now. We anticipated this, and here is our plan. Okay? And here is why we're not doing it right now. I don't think there's any harm in kind of like giving us a window into like why didn't you do server mergers 2 weeks ago, last week, this week, next week? What? You're waiting till January? Oh, for frick's sake. Why? Like, because if you're playing right now on a low pop server, you're dying to know what the plan is. You're dying to know. I remember the Friday night when Lono went close cam and forgot to turn it off for 10 minutes while I played Aliens Fireteam. That was epic. That was so legendary. This is my first time actually watching you live. I've been hearing your podcast on Spotify. Oh, well, thanks for being here, Skylar. We appreciate that. The low pops are driving even more players away, which isn't helping the situation at all. Right. I don't need Elden Ring news. I just need it to come out. That's right. There's no new news about Elden Ring. I hate that guy as much as I respect him. I really do. I do. I genuinely equally hate and respect the guy that made that channel. It is amazing. YouTube Shorts Insider. Everything you need to know. Try this. Gamification. What makes shorts work? They're fun, they're quick. Strategy. Make money with shorts. We'll reach out to thousands of creators every month. Okay. We've seen success with both. Google sending a legal notice. We've updated our terms of service. About user-facing terms of service. What's changing? More clarity, improved readability. Okay, thanks. Yeah, here's my 2021 podcasting all wrapped up. It says I listen to repeat theater the most. I was like, what? Still no coffee orders. Who's going to be the first coffee order of the day? I'm always working, so it's super cool to actually see it live instead of on Spotify. Yeah, it's definitely a different experience to be here live, for sure. For sure. If you guys are enjoying the show, remember to hit subscribe and the bell button. We cover a lot of different games here. And it's a talk show Monday through Friday. We did one this morning on Halo, and we're doing another one right now on New World Server Merges Update. And hitting subscribe and the bell button will ensure you don't miss the show. It's basically like video game radio, and I am safe for work, so a lot of people throw me on in the background, kind of like video game radio, so they can just kind of listen throughout the day. You can obviously look up the podcast. SNTR Presents is the name of the podcast. You can look that up on any podcast platform if you want to catch past episodes, or just watch them here on YouTube. Am I going to play Elden Ring? Yes. We've been doing From Friday for I don't know how many weeks now. We beat Dark Souls 3, and we've moved into Sekiro. So every Friday we kick off with an Elden Ring discussion topic, or news if there's news, and then we'll be playing Sekiro. And we had an input delay issue last week, or well, the week before Thanksgiving, that we have solved. So, should lead to better gameplay. If you like to interact with the stream, nothing beats live. Yeah. We try to be very, very predictable and very, very regular. Monday through Friday, we are here 2 shows a day in the morning. Brainstorming about doing a third show over on Presents. For those of you that don't know, I have a larger channel called SNTR Presents, and we've been uploading more personal, more commentary, cultural content over there. And then every Thursday, we're continuing the Say No to Rage story, and that is typically followed by a live AMA. So that will be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the night of the cancel. So if you're sub to that channel or you like that channel, make sure that you are there for that. And we have a premiere hitting that channel again today. We're trying to do premieres pretty regularly. Yesterday we talked about why I don't talk about politics, and today we're talking about how to have a disagreement. It's a lost art in the modern world, and that's today's video as well. And so we hope that you guys enjoy that. Aiming to beat Secure before Elden Ring drops? I mean, maybe. It's tough playing once a week, but yeah, maybe, or hopefully. How'd you fix the input lag? So we were going through a capture card and then into OBS and then projecting it onto my monitor. And that was bad, basically. It was creating inconsistent input delay, and that was the issue. So we bypassed that OBS situation and immediately fixed it. I was literally not able to deflect the most basic enemy, like just a basic base level enemy. I was like randomly not deflecting. I'm like, I hit the dadgum button, and we think that's what the cause was. OBS just periodically drops frames, you know, and it's not super noticeable. Like you may see every once in a while if I'm moving like this, you might see like a very slight, like a slight little micro stutter. That's just it losing a frame and course correcting. And when that happens in a video game like Sekiro, it's death. You know? Shinny says, when are mergers coming? They didn't say. Somebody said that they thought they heard January, and so we were trying to theorize why New World server merges would happen in January and not sooner. A lot of people have theorized maybe Christmas will have an influx of players, and they don't want that to be an issue. Like all of a sudden they merge and then you're overpopulated. You can do it easily with the bad ending, but you'll miss a few epic bosses. The other issue that we're going to run into with Elden Ring is that Elden Ring is apparently a lot more similar to Dark Souls, so I don't know if we want to necessarily like ride the Sekiro train right into Elden Ring, because then we're going to be kind of like out of our element. Like I definitely got better at Dark Souls 3 as I played, even though I was disappointed in the Cinder fight. It didn't feel like a very good crescendo. My favorite fights were like Pontiff Sullivan and Dragon Armor and the twin brothers. So, chat, remember it's a new stream. Can we get some likes? That's right. What was that name? The name of the boss that I was disappointed in? You talking Cinder? The last guy? Will you test Ashes of Creation when Alpha 2 becomes available? It's possible. It's possible. Nameless King when? I think we're going to save stuff like Nameless King for like rainy day from Friday stuff. Like once we've kind of like, if we're going to ride Elden Ring until the wheels fall off, and then, you know, if we feel like it's time to like, hey, for fun on a From Friday, let's go do some of the other stuff in Dark Souls or whatever. Sekiro ain't going to hurt you for Elden Ring? Probably not. I mean, you played Elden Ring and then you stomped all over Demon Souls, so... You know your favorite? Yeah, the dancer. Stunlock trash. Plus 150 universal luck food. What I'm eating right now? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. How is it described worded? Are you talking to somebody else in chat? I like the shorts you have. I love the whoosh that you see on screen before it cuts to you. Your vids are getting better. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, we're throwing the updates on Facebook for those of you that use Facebook, and they work really well over there. Like the thumbnail is literally like the first frame of the video, and you click on it, and it goes woof. It's cool. It's very, very cool. So we're going to consider putting, just continue to put more stuff over there as well, because it's just, just another place to have our stuff, What kind of stream camera do I use? I use a Sony A6000. It is it's a DSLR mirrorless camera going through an Elgato cam link. So it's, 60 frames, nice high resolution. Someone said the turkey boss drops 0.15 luck food. Oh, my bad. Of course, you're eating luck food. Okay. Does anyone know if Quest 2 is worth it, or should I just send it and get a Vive? VR is looking like too much fun now. I don't know. Couldn't comment on that. 1.1 made the player-derived gameplay loops much less enjoyable, says the Cameo. Solo content and small group content became a disappointing chore rather than a quick daily. Yeah, and see, this is the dilemma with New World gameplay. New World gameplay exists on a spectrum of, you know, solo to group to large group play. And if you fiddle, my personal belief is that the worst thing you can do is fiddle with the solo play, right? Because like if you fiddle a little bit with group play and group play maybe it slows down or something, well then but at the very least you're still playing with your buds, or there's still a sense of like camaraderie. If you kill solo play, there's nothing to redeem that. You can't pull that out of the pit, you know? You can't pull that out of the pit. You know, it's because what ends up happening is you have nothing else to really hold on to when you're by yourself. Like if the gameplay loop just gets bad and you're like, well, I okay, but if, like, let's say they fiddled with expeditions, well, you're still with your buddies or you're still with other people, so like it's a little bit more tolerable. The minute you fracture solo gameplay, man, that's a quick end. That to me is a very quick end, because it's like, well, my gosh, I can't just boot up and do what I want. It's just something basic like crafting or farming. I swallowed that wrong. Don't you hate when you do that? Oh man, that was immediate relief. I just need to drink some water. Holy moly. That was terrible. The crafting nerfs basically mean I'll be spending 25% more on every skill. I wasn't sure what they were solving. Like, what were you solving? That's my question. So the New World update that comes out, and it nerfs that. Why? What dilemma? What was the issue? And this far in, 7 or 8 weeks in, what was the problem? Like, you didn't do it in week 1 or week 2 so that people didn't really have a rhythm yet. You understand the point that I'm making? It's like, you waited all this time. What on earth are you solving? If you would have done it in the first week or two, people would be like, oh, now it's going to take longer, and then nobody would have noticed. You waited like 7 weeks to do it. Well, every player now was accustomed to the daily rhythm and the ritual and you just short-circuited it. The release dates for the physical versions of Grand Theft Auto: The Trilogy Definitive Edition have changed. The Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PS4 will now release on December 17th, and the Nintendo Switch version is coming in early 2022. Oh, just release this Nintendo Switch one now. It looks like trash. You're not going to be able to tell on a Nintendo Switch. But he's buying that. What's the definitive edition come from? What's it come with? Does it come with more textures? What have Amazon done? What do you mean, Harry? With respect to mergers? Server mergers, they didn't do anything. They just said they've laid the groundwork. They've laid the foundation, Harry, for something that I assumed they knew they were going to need to do when the game launched. There was a huge update for GTA yesterday. You got to craft 25% more higher tier crafts, so that basically directly transitions to more time gathering and refining and crafting. You said they slowed something down. Well, yeah, what Mason just put in the chat. They messed with the way that you advance the crafting. Didn't they mess with all of it? They messed with all of it. Like they slowed all of it down. Why? Hence the grind is multiplied. Like I knew, like, we were going through this when I was leveling. So like New World leveling was not, to me, designed very well, right? To me, it felt backwards. It was like the longer you played, the worse it got. They already tested mergers in the beta. I don't know why they don't just go ahead with it. That's what I'm saying, Halo. There's no point making players craft the mid and lower higher tier gear since most players max crafting at endgame. I mean, it all serves a purpose at its point in the game, though. They could have brought new quests for level 60. I Cleave SM and Eden Grove ECT. I'm not sure what you mean by the second half there. You're just saying they could have done new stuff for you once you hit 60. Like, just new stuff to do? They said high-tier crafts would give you a reward, but as someone on the forum stated, you still need more of them. So where is the reward? That sounds like a shell game to me. Bust through the door. Did someone say crafting? Yeah, no. Not that kind. Not that kind. This is good crafting. This is good crafting, Necro. Not your harebrained idea of what crafting could be in the game that will not be named. Why would you not just use the gear that gets dropped at your level versus crafting every level up? Well, because, Cameo, think about what you're saying. I'm not saying that you can't play this way, but I'm saying that it's also sensible to play the other way. The other way being, as you level, you craft, and crafting goes up, and you craft relevant to where you are, and you get new stuff, and you equip said stuff, and everything you're doing progresses the character. You're talking about driving crafting like a semi without anything on the back of it. Just drive yourself all the way to the end of crafting and then be like, yep, now that I'm here, now I'll start making stuff. Like, interacting with the crafting leveling in a mechanical, sort of mechanistic, like extremely, like pedal to the floor way. You are welcome to play that way, but I also think it makes sense for somebody to say, I'm 35, I'm going to craft some stuff and use it. It's not like every single thing in the game is automatically tenuous just because there's a cap on leveling. Like, well, nothing matters until you're at the level cap, just use what drops. The only reason they could have thought it was a good idea was because for a lot of the trade skills, the best XP per effort, more realistically XP per gold, was low tier items, but they shouldn't nerf the high tier items. Some play as a looter, others play as a builder. Yeah, it just depends on the person. It's all going to be replaced once you hit 60. But what you are saying is not argumentation that crafting and getting things along the way is not important or enjoyable for the player. Again, you're acting as if the journey is immaterial and doesn't matter. It's just a means to an end. That's fine for you. For the rest of us, or for people who don't think like you, the journey is just as important as the destination. Like, I can get to, I can get from here to Arizona really, really fast if I take a sleeping pill and tie myself to a box in the back of a semi-truck, right? So I can just get there. Or I can have a road trip where I stop along the way and enjoy the scenery and the food and maybe get a hotel that's got a nice pool, or there's local fare and local food where I stop. Do you see, like, just mechanistically speeding to the end and ignoring everything along the way? That's perfectly fine. That's your choice. But there are others who would prefer to take the road trip approach that enjoy the things along the way, crafting an item and using it, caring about your drops. None of it matters. You're not 60. What matters to me? It'd be fine if you couldn't hit 60 in 3 days. If the leveling experience took a month, you're not even representing the game that exists right now. You're talking about a fantasy world. Hitting 60 in 3 days? That's a fantasy land. That's not the average user's experience, brother. The average user's experience is what you said on the second half of your statement. The leveling experience taking a month. The average player did take about a month to hit max level. Nobody in the majority, in the bulk of the player base, is hitting level 60 in 3 days. I don't know what you're doing or what kind of G Fuel you're snorting, but that's not normative or common, like, at all. 60 in 3 days is ludicrous. That is no-lifing, exploit, shortcut taking, like, drinking from a fire hose gameplay. The average person is not doing that. I would even garner to say that the upper 10% that got to 60 quickly didn't do it in 3 days. I don't see it. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, even 72 straight hours, I don't know if it's possible, Eugene. Even 72 straight hours. People were in the low 100s when they hit max at the fastest. The fastest I saw was people in the low 100s, like 110, 120 hours, and people were hitting 60. I'm not seeing anybody doing that in 3 days. People can get to 60 in 3 days now because the market has settled into the end game and the fastest routes are known. Yeah, I mean, if you're using every leveling guide on YouTube, maybe. But that, again, is not normative. You can't use an externally manipulated edge case to say, you can level in 3 days. Why the frick would anybody care about their loot along the way? You're using a very specific and contextual edge case to argue a standard. That's not how you argue. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can attach dynamite to a bowling ball and get a strike every time. What's the big deal? Just throw the ball. Like, you don't need to worry about your bowling shoes or a refined throw. Well, you're creating an insane edge case. Yeah, of course, if you strap dynamite to the bowling ball, you're going to get a strike every time. You're creating an absurd extreme to argue your point. If you nerf lower level crafted items, XP takes more reagents to craft higher tier items, which comes out of boxes and chests, and they reduce the amount of drops from those too. Right. That's the thing. That's what we're saying, is like you should never mess with the solo player experience. They shouldn't have messed with PvE solo player experience. New World gameplay it centers and grounds itself in the idea that you can be satisfied with a play session. And the minute that stops happening, people stop playing. Super relevant to the discussion we had this morning about the Halo Infinite Battle Pass. It's so similar. When you get to 60, there's not a lot to keep doing. Well, I think ideally you would get to 60 and work on your trade skills and then like selling items in the store, but I think they were a little pie in the sky, like doe-eyed idealists about what like the economy would look like, because I don't think it's shaped up quite the way they thought it would. People who hit 60 sub 1 week at launch were streamers who had entire companies feeding them gold and resources. As a no-lifer who got to 60 in like 9 days, that was about as fast as it could be done. That's what I'm saying, Harry. And even then, that what you did is still right now not normative. Right? It's not. It's not. You can't look at somebody and be like, oh, come on. Why do you care about crafting at level 40? You can hit 60 in 9 days. Even that would be a silly thing to say. That, I know you're not saying that, Harry. I'm saying even right now, you wouldn't argue that like there's no quality or value or intrinsic benefit or enjoyment to be had from crafting while you're in the mid game simply because you can hit max level in 9 days. Like, there are people, as the analogy I gave, there are people that enjoy the road trip approach. You could mechanistically and very painfully get to the Grand Canyon from Kentucky. I live in Kentucky. I could get to the Grand Canyon in a very mechanistic, speedy, expedited way and not enjoy the journey at all. Just because what's the point? You're traveling to see the Grand Canyon. Well, you turn it into a road trip, and you stop in different cities, and you stop in different towns, and you look at the scenery along the way. And you enjoy it. Why would you take a picture of this place? You're going to the Grand Canyon. Just save all your film for there. That's the argumentation. It's like, why would you craft anything at level 40? You're going to get rid of it when you get to level 60. Well, it's like, so? It enhances the game at that point in time, and I get to enjoy it. Maybe it makes that part of the game fun for me, and, that's important. The game in its current state is going to be fun in a friend group for the leveling process. You might hit a nice content patch by the time you finish. I mean, I actually don't disagree with that, because once you get past level 40, leveling is much more enjoyable in a group because you have to go into the higher level areas, and if you're solo aggroing, it's super irritating. I wouldn't disagree with that for a minute. I would never want to walk around Ebonscale Reach by myself. Every dadgum person has a musket, and they've got aimbot accuracy. I swear sometimes even the alligators have muskets. It's like, stop shooting me. I'm just trying to run through. But when you're by yourself, you're solo aggro. There's nobody around to draw aggro. All the people who rush to max level now are bored and complaining. Par for the course in gaming, is it not? Is it just me, or is anybody else not a fan of the storage system? When they unified the trade houses, there was a small part of me that was like, could you unify the storage too? Like, I get it. I understand. But why? Come on. Let me grab my wood. Let me grab my wood from that other town. Like, come on. Why do I gotta run all the way there? It'll be like that TikTok where a guy goes upstairs. He's like, what'd you come up here for? Your toaster? He's like, no, I didn't come up here for my toaster. He's like, well, I'll tell you what you came up here for when you go back downstairs. He's like, just tell me. Gets back downstairs. Your phone charger. It is amazing. Brilliantly comedic. Storage isn't connected? No. You put something in one town. You got to go back there to get it. Why is your wood in another town? I mean, some towns are warmer than others, Darkest Night says, hello. DigiRoss says, been gaming for 30 plus years. My brother and I were almost max level, and then transfers were borked, and we re-rolled on a high pop. We're completing every quest and crafting our own gear along the way. Yeah, it's enjoyable. I don't discount, who was saying that. I don't discount the cameo. you are well within your right to play how you want. If you're like, I'm not crafting a single dadgum thing until I'm 60, you live your dream, brother, but everybody else is going to play the way that they think's best just the same. You know? You're philosophically bound, by the way. Did you know that? I don't know if you knew this. You will always choose what you think is best. Free will? Anyway, it makes sense. I'm sure it's cozy there, too. Carry on. Keep your wood. You replace the Horizon Zero Dawn poster with Halo Infinite? Yeah, these are disc plates. I can take them down and swap them. It's a metal plate, and it attaches to a magnet that I stick on the wall. Now, my magnets are raised off of the wall so that the light behind creates a glow. Yours, if you were to buy them, stick right on the wall, unless you do what I did. It's almost like a shadow box kind of a thing where I created. It like lifts it off the wall. To give that effect, I have a displate command. Oh, perfect timing. A displate command and a displate link below. Those links will get you a discount. Make sure if you use my displate command and then click on the link, make sure you actually get the discount. People are not catching it. They're, for whatever reason, not getting a discount, which means I don't get credit and you don't save money. By the way, if you're tuning in and enjoying the show, the New World server merges update that was in the patch notes was basically they're laying the foundation for the server merges. We have no ETA or time frame on when they're going to be doing it. So I've been pretty critical of them today that this seems too late and not timely. There are theories that they are going to want to wait until December has passed due to the potential influx of players. I just ordered 3 disc plates and was trying to find a good way to raise them off the wall to do a backlight with white RGB. What did you do? I literally took cardboard, Harry. I just took cardboard and then folded it into like the shape of a box and taped it shut. And then I stuck that cardboard to the wall with Gorilla Tape. And then I put the magnets on the front of the cardboard. You can do what Eugene is saying, magnetic tool holders, they're about 1 inch thick. You just need something raised off the wall to stick the magnet to. A square, you go to a hardware store and have them cut you a square of a 2x4, get 2 of them, and drill that into the wall, and then slap the magnet on it. And then it would be popped off the wall by the thickness of the 2x4. There's all kind of DIY ways you could do it. Mine is very ugly because it didn't matter to me what behind looked like, you know, because the LED lights I use, I mean, it's tape light and it's just kind of messy and all the wall. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, and Eugene, we were literally. This was just a nightmare, and I just wanted to be done with it. So I didn't feel like going to a hardware store or anything like that. I wanted to just drill a bit of wood, but I rent, so I can't do permanent stuff to the wall. Yeah, so I mean, Gorilla Tape will hold virtually anything to the wall, and these aren't very heavy. So you just need to Gorilla Tape something to the wall that is of a certain thickness, and then you would just slap the magnet onto that. You just want to make sure whatever you do is the size of the magnet so that the magnet can adequately, because you peel the blue and then you stick it to it. And these are the larges. If you do large, you need 2 of these to hold the weight. Tons of macaroni art and lighting effects in seminary school. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. That was a good joke. You look so comfy today. Thank you, Radical. Use more magnets. I'm so hyped for them. I got 3 of the lightsabers collection, Ahsoka's Darksaber and Anakin's. Did you use my link, Harry? I feel like I saw that I don't know who orders what, but I can see what displays are ordered. He's not wrong. You can admit that you guys want to snuggle with me today. That's okay. It won't make me uncomfortable. I mean, I might claim that it makes me uncomfortable in a twit longer in 2 years, but right now it doesn't. Oh. That was good. Those were good neck pops. I was trying to do it earlier today and I couldn't get it to go. Did we hit a milestone? Oh, we're so close to another milestone. That's Mama Rad to you. Yeah. Call her by her proper name. I was gonna say by her Christian name, but that doesn't work because she is actually Jewish. So I would have to say call her by her. What would we say? We wouldn't say Jewish name, would we? Mama Rad? I don't think that works. Calling somebody by their Christian name, that's different than that. I don't think that works. Calling her by her government, her official government ID now says Mama Rad. We'll go with that. She gets pulled over. Oh, you have a Hebrew name. Oh, cool. Yeah, you get pulled over and you hand him your driver's license. And he's like, yes, sir. Mama Rad? Do you know how fast you were going? You legally changed your name to Mama Rad. Well, I'm pregnant, aren't I? What do you think I should do? I need to get wall hangs for my guitars, and I'll think about some disc plates. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Rachael. The is throaty. Rachael. Or is it Aisle? Rachael. Does it go up? Rachael or Rachael. Probably up, right? Rad lovin'. Wait a minute, that's not the same. Very close. Okay. I like Mama Rad more. Mama Rad's easier to say, that's for sure. That's for sure. My wife is Mama. That's her name in the house. Like, go get Mama. Go ask Mama, right? I called her Mama even before we had kids. It was just, come on, Mama. Like, that was just something that happened. And my kids have taken to calling her Mom, and I don't like it. I'm like, Mom. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. But I care. I'm like, that's Mama. What are you saying Mom for? That's my parents. My parents are Mom and Dad. So my kids are not allowed to call me. They have to call me Papa. I'm like, that's it. You don't call me anything else. I don't respond to anything else. You know, my son will be he's been having to be disciplined. We have to send him to his room because it's disrespectful. You know, he'll call me by something else, and we're like, nope, got to go to your room for 1 minute because we're trying to like break the habit. I told my husband I want to be Mama. Yeah. Mama's, I like Mama. I think it's got a good sound to it. Like, because I'm from the north, so Mom, Dad, like Ma, it's like ma, it's like nasally, you know. And I talked that way, Mom, you know. I definitely talk that way. I've lost some of the nasal, like, because of being in the South, and I've trained my voice to be a little bit different, more production and more in a lower octave. But yeah, when I was growing up as Mom and Dad. And so when I hear my kids say Mom, I'm like, what the who are you talking about? Titanfall will be delisted shortly. Oh, really? Well, I mean, wait until they first name you? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've done that a couple of times. And I'm like, Wait until they're teenagers? Pop is weird? No, it's not. It's weird to you. Like, I think calling, like, grandparents, like, meemaw, peepaw, pee-pee, poo-poo, like, I've never liked that. But I understand why people do it. We always grew up grandma, grandpa, and we had a pappy. but I've never gotten into the peepaw, meemaw. You know, I've never liked that. I've always thought that was strange, but that's just because it's unfamiliar. Here are the letters in Hebrew. I remember that it's the symbols underneath that dictate the vowels, right? So Rachael. Yeah. It's like you ping pong through the letters, like ding 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 ding. Yeah. I did not like Hebrew. I didn't like it. It went in. I retained it. I had no idea what in the frig I was doing. It's A like the letter A. Rachael. Rachael. Yeah. My wife's side of our family does the meemaw and the pop-pop. I don't mind pop-pop. I think it's the peepaw and the meemaw that always bothered me. I think it's the meemaw and the peepaw. I was like, you pop-pop, you know, moo-moo. I don't know. What has been ruined, if you watch old TV shows and movies, daddy has just been ruined now. When a kid calls their dad daddy, I'm always kind of like, change the program. Change the program. I'm a little uncomfortable. Turn it off. Daddy, chill, right? Like, daddy has been ruined, bro. It's been ruined in 2 ways. Yeah, it's just been ruined, man. I can't. I watch those old shows and I'm like, why are they calling him daddy? Gotta change the program, bro. Can't do it. It's because of the implication. It's sunny in Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Because of the implication. I am amazed that show has gone through 2020 and 2021 unscathed. I am amazed. I am amazed. All those are country vote in the chat. Right. On my dad's side of the family, I have the nickname Boo Boo, so my kids call my dad Yogi. Oh, that's cute though. I like that. That's kind of cute. There's something kind of adorable about that. It's not my kid's fault you guys have seen too much. It's not even that though, Noble. It's not even that. It's not even always used in that realm, but you know, there's plenty of people that just put it in, you know, their conversation, their Twitter, their TikTok, like calling their man daddy. Like, that's a thing. It doesn't even have to be, it's not even necessarily dirty. It's just, it's been used in a very different way. Like, I'm all about dad or pop. I do let my son call me Pop. He likes to shorten people's names, and it's kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. He's got some, my boy's got some swagger to him. Daddy, chill. Zubair says, oh, it's dirty now. No, it's not. It's not. It isn't. It's not, but it is at the same time. Does mean the word daddy's in the same bucket as moist. I've never understood why moist bothers people. I don't understand it. It's literally just half of the word moisture. I just don't get it. I don't know. It could be a regional thing. It could be like, because we would grow up and that would not be a word that would make you feel like gross. It's just like, if something's moist, like what the, like, I don't know. Saying something's wet, you don't get weirded out when someone says something's wet. I don't know. Moist gets a bad rap. Another 5 years, it'll be in that bracket. Distorted's like, no. It's definitely close. It's definitely close. It's a disgusting word. I don't understand why. I don't get it. I've yet to meet people who hate the word. There's people in chat right now that don't like it. They'll tell you. They will tell you. I don't get it. Is it literally just that connotation? Like, why is that gross? Like, I'm not trying to go down this road with you, but that's not gross. That's like I would think that's a good thing. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't have the aversion to it. I don't. There are weird words. There are weird Finn's like, I'm unlurking. There are words that I don't like, and I can't tell you why. I don't like tummy. What? Or belly. It's my stomach. You know, my tummy or my belly. I'm not like a baby. It's like when adults who have kids, they don't discriminate with the word potty. I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with that. A grown man asking his children if they have to go to the potty is totally fine. A grown man asking another grown man if he has to go to the potty, now we have a problem. Like, you need to discriminate with the word potty. There are people you can say it to and people you cannot. Stomach button. I don't mind belly button because it's attached to something. But, yo, oh, you got a belly ache? You got a tummy ache? No. I hate the word parched. I get that way when grown adult says the word taters instead of potato. Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I call it restroom the special office. I think this is literally to my family the thing, but the remote got called the buttons. That's kind of funny. I don't get it either. I use the word a lot. Moist, damp, wet. Yeah. It's just a descriptive word. Yeah, I don't get that one. I never have. So that's the potty mouth. Unless you're a potty mouth. Even potty mouth is funny to describe yourself in that way. Like, blankety blank blank blankety blank, cuss cuss cuss, swear swear swear. I'm a bit of a potty mouth. What? Why did you just use like a 7-year, like a 5-year-old's vocabulary then? You swear like crazy and you're like, I'm a bit of a potty mouth. I mean, I guess it sounds nicer than toilet mouth, but my girlfriend can't stand when I say dookie instead of poop. Yeah, that doesn't bother me. Yeah, swear like a sailor bleep. That's how, yeah, I always heard that term. More than potty mouth. It irks me when people call a normal half bathroom in a house a powder room. I don't know why it bothers me. I don't like when adults tell you what they're going to do in the bathroom. I don't need to know that. Right? I leave for 2 minutes and this is where the conversation's gone. We're just getting you ready for motherhood. Like, that's what happens when you walk out of the room, mama. Like, hey, you just gotta take it. Anyway, I don't like being told what you're going to do. I gotta go take a this. I gotta go do that. No, you just tell me you're going to the restroom. I'm good. That's the amount of information I need. I don't need any other information. There's not a lot of doubt about what you're going to be doing in there. Oh, well, thank you for telling me that. I thought you were going to go to the bathroom and cook up dinner. Like, I'm so glad you clarified what you were going to do in the bathroom. I don't need to know that. I wasn't in any doubt about, are you going to go do your taxes, play hopscotch, video games? You're going to make a steak? No, I know what you're going there to do. You do not need to tell me. It isn't important. It gives you a time expectation. But again, is that really important? Right? If I'm sitting there eating a sandwich, I'm eating dinner. I don't need to know if you're going to be back in 2 minutes or 7. It doesn't matter to me. It's not important. It's not dire. I'm not like sitting there eating my lunch and I'm like, you know, Frank's been gone for a little longer than I expected. I wish he would have told me whether or not he was pooping or peeing. He really has left me in the lurch here. I don't need to know. I'll be okay. The extra 5 minutes isn't going to ruin my life. You telling me that, I don't need that. I don't need that image in my brain. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to finish eating now. Thank you so much. That way you don't send help too early. Somebody go check on Frank. It's been 9 minutes. There's something wrong. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. You go to the restroom and I think you're back in 1 or 2 minutes, and it takes you 10. I'm not coming and looking for you, brother. I'm not. You got to get to like the 30-minute mark before I'm worried. You got to get to like the 30-minute mark. And then I might take an interest and send you a text. Everything okay? My regularity has been slaughtered since I'm pregnant. I'm going to talk about it. Radical, if I know you're pregnant, again, I don't need details. If you're like, I need to go to the restroom. Thanks. That is all I need. I have the appropriate amount of information. I don't need any more. I'm not in a quandary. There's not a curiosity gap. I'm not like, I'm not going to stop you and be like, well, hang on a minute. Hang on. A couple of questions. What are you going to do when you're in there? About how long does it take you? We don't... There's no need. I'm not going to suddenly have a Diane Sawyer moment with you. It's like, okay, I'll see you when you're done. Methinks he doth protest too much. I'm not protesting too much. I'm just telling you, I don't need to know anymore. Missing out on such a natural conversation? Here's a natural conversation. We're sitting down to eat. I have food in front of me, drinks and everything else. And you're like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the restroom. Okay. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. I don't need to know if you're going pee-pee or poo-poo. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know. It's not helpful information. In 5 years, you're going to need help off the toilet. It's a courtesy to let people know to come get you. Yeah, at 45. Oh, help me. That's rude. Ooh, that's rude. So if the food's not in front of you, it's okay. In general, I don't need to know. We could be standing in line, and I don't need to know. I could be in a retail store looking at a television, and you gotta go use the restroom. I don't need to know what you're doing in there. Just tell me you're going to the restroom. Here's a red hot button, soda or pop. Here, we'll poll the audience. This is really important. If you're coming in for New World information, I can answer your questions. There's not much to say about server mergers update. They said virtually nothing other than that they're preparing. I was pretty hard on them, but we're an hour and a half into the stream, and I'm not just going to wail on them the entire time. It was a great discussion, by the way. Those of you that were here for the New World coverage, thanks for hitting like and subscribe. We generally talk about everything here, though, so we have wandered way off the train tracks here. You know, New World server mergers is a big subject that people have been waiting for. Oh, you say Coke? Yeah, see... I actually thought about that, and we didn't put that on there because I printed this report off last night. Yeah, If you call it Coke, you're an idiot. So we just don't put that. I'm just not gonna put that on the poll. What else? I think, yeah, that was it. That was it. So we don't put that on the poll because it's so dumb to call it Coke. It's stupid. It's like calling all cereal Cheerios. Can I have a bowl of Cheerios? What kind? Frosted Flakes. What? It doesn't make any sense. It's a Southern thing. You misspelled stupid. Oh, listen, I live in Kentucky, and I love y'all. Your Southern hospitality, your food, you know, your women. I'm just kidding. I love the South, okay? But the Coke thing is dumb. It is. Says stomach button man. No, it's dumb. It doesn't actually make sense. Calling it soda or pop, there's an etymological reason for that, right? There's a reason that you choose one, because it was originally called soda pop, and just wherever you live regionally, folks just started calling it one of those words for short, right? Soda pop. And then people gravitated to one of those. Calling it Coke doesn't make sense. It doesn't. That's literally one of the brands. It's one of the kinds. You don't call something by one of the kinds. Now, my wife will get on me about this because she jokingly chides me. If I say, give me a Kleenex, she's like, oh, you mean a tissue? Because Kleenex is the brand. And if you say, give me a Band-Aid, instead of giving me a bandage, you're using the brand name. Now, the reason that that's okay is because Band-Aid doesn't delineate a type. It doesn't delineate a type. It's the brand, but bandages are bandages, right? There's not like, well, this type of bandage. Now, there are types of bandages, but you know what I'm saying? When you say Band-Aid, you're not delineating a type of bandage. It's just very clear you need a bandage, okay? Kleenex, it's not like this box of Kleenex and this box of whatever the other brand is. They're still tissues. A Coke is dramatically different. It's archetypically different than a root beer. So you can't be like, I would like to have a Coke. You've asked for a type of drink. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. All video games are called Mario now. Can we play Mario? Yeah, sure. What kind? Sure, what kind? You got Sonic? So dumb. It's like using a weed eater. Weed eater is a brand of string trimmer. It's not the official name. Right, but when the brand doesn't delineate a type, I think you're okay. Kleenex and Band-Aid do not delineate a type of bandage or tissue. They're merely a brand that touches the entire thing. A Kleenex is a tissue as much as the next tissue. A can of Coke is not even remotely the same as a can of root beer. They're diametrically opposed. I read one time, I was in Florida, I'm from Chicago, by the way, and I asked a guy at a party what kind of pop they had, and he looked at me like I was speaking, like you were speaking another language. That's right. Coke was the first soda. There was no soda before Coke. You sound like a fundamentalist, but about soda. You can't dismiss history. It wasn't the first. No, because the guy in the little candy shop was called a soda jerk. That's not true. Soda pop, no. The origin of soda pop is not Coke. It isn't. You'd have to go back to when there were soda jerks, and it was like flavored soda water. Coke was not the first. That is so false. He had no idea what I was trying to say. Yeah, could I get a pop? That's probably how you said it. Yeah, you know, I'm going to go and get a pie, and I want to get a pop. I got a friend from Chicago. Oh, man. That was after Coke was invented? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The origin of soda pop, it predates you being able to like have it in your home. You had to go to like a place. You had to go to like the guy that would do it was called a soda jerk. Can we call it cola? I think cola is a generic term. Yeah, you could use that. It communicates a beverage type. I know you're Coca-Cola, but cola has become the generic term. RC Cola, right? 1885? No. How far back does this go? Verner's is the best. Yeah, my dad likes Verner's. I can't drink it. Oof. Like in A Wonderful Life? Yeah, in the scene, he's got the soda right there. Cocaine cola. That's funny because in Spanish, cola means this. Oh, really? Can I get a liter of cola? Coca-Cola is the brand name, though. Yeah, but cola was a term before Coca-Cola existed. I'm fairly certain that cola, as a term, that wasn't original to Coke. Coca-Cola is what's the origin on cola? I'm fairly certain that that's not original to them. In 1886. Oh, no. Hang on. Cola is carbonated soft drink. Cola became popular worldwide after pharmacist John Allen invented Coca-Cola. Oh, no, it is. It does. As a trademark brand. I'm incorrect. Cola, the etymology of it does originate with Coca-Cola, invented by a pharmacist. I stand corrected. Other companies have just used the phrase cola. Yeah, I was wrong. I thought it was a term prior to that. That's interesting. That you could grab half of the name. Because there are plenty of off brands that use the term cola. That's interesting that they've gotten away with that. Boom, who's stupid now? Yeah, I didn't know the etymology of the word cola. I'm such an idiot. RC is older than Coke? Really? No. RC Cola. RC Cola is an American brand of cola invented by Claude A. Hatcher in 1905. You are incorrect. Coca-Cola predates RC Cola. And I mean, this is according to Wikipedia, but I don't know why that would be false. RC Cola is 1905. Coca-Cola was like 1885. Coke's got it beat by about 20 years. You just watched a documentary on this? Coke is third? What was the first and the second then? According to this, unless the documentary got information that we don't have, according to this, RC Cola came later than Coca-Cola. Wikipedia is editable by any idiot. So somebody came in here and botched the date on RC Cola. And the documentary got it right, which is also made by a fallible person. Dr. Pepper and RC, both of those predate Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper. I'm genuinely interested now. Keurig Dr. Pepper Incorporated, formerly known as Keurig Green Mountain, was originally Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, publicly traded, blah, 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 blah. No. Beginnings. We want beginnings. I am not seeing it. I'm not seeing a Dr. Pepper before 1900 or 1885 or whenever Coca-Cola. 1905 is literally on the RC website. Yeah, that's okay. So even RC claims 1905. What's Coca-Cola's EST? Coca-Cola EST. Founded in 1892. The Coca-Cola Company Wikipedia. Oh, that's Wikipedia still. I thought it was their own wiki page. I was like, my gosh, they have their own wiki. History of the Coca-Cola Company, according to their own website, is 1886. Your documentary got something wrong. Like, on May 8th of 1886, I'm on Coke's website, Dr. John Pemberton sold the first glass of Coca-Cola at Jacob's Pharmacy. RC Cola has 1905. It was started by one guy in a pharmacy. He sold it in 1905? Why would RC Cola have their own history wrong? Charles Alderton, a young pharmacist in Waco, Texas, invented Dr. Pepper in 1885. It was served at the drugstore where Alderton worked, and the first Dr. Pepper fans asked for a Waco, the oldest soft drink in the United States. It was later named Dr. Pepper, according to legend. That's the same year as Coca-Cola. No, Coca-Cola is 1886. So he invents Dr. Pepper in 1885. Oh, we were debating RC Cola. RC Cola said 1905. I didn't look up Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I didn't look up Dr. Pepper. So Dr. Pepper's 1885, Coca-Cola's 1886, and then RC's 1905. So it sounds like they might have gotten the RC Cola dates wrong. Lono right now? Yeah, I'm trying to keep it all straight. All sounds like a he said, she said. Limp Bizkit. It's all about the he said, she said. People are tuning in for New World server merges update, and they're like, what in the frick did I click on? Schweppes was 1783? Dr. Pepper also isn't a cola? Well, we were trying to find out the origin of cola, and it does actually seem like Coca-Cola was the first to use the term cola in 1886. RC's own website says 1905. According to the poll, if you're just tuning in, 128 votes, soda or pop. Soda is winning. If you can't survive the rabbit holes, then you are safer somewhere else. Coke wasn't a soda until the 1900s. It was a medicine until then. We were just thinking about the term cola is mainly what we were looking for. Soda pop is definitely the correct terminology, so both soda and pop as general use terms are the only acceptable names unless you're saying a specific soda name. Company 1905. The drink was the 1880s. I wonder why they wouldn't say that on their website. Dinner versus supper? I think I just pick one of them. I don't lock in. I use dinner and supper interchangeably. I'm not rigid on that one. I'm not voting because the proper term is not in there. Okay. Yo, Jimmy coming in with the membership. Thank you so much. Inching us closer to 400 members. Thank you very, very much. We've gotten some new members today and some member renewals. We didn't get any coffee orders today. I thought we were going to have a bit of a surge when we got back in town. I think we got 5 on Monday and 3 yesterday. Usually we usually always have at least 1 coffee sale. It's a little... You guys must be storing up for the winter. You guys bought a bunch before we left. Schweppes started out as carbonated water. We got one. When? I didn't get an email. Was it very recently? I didn't get an email. Yeah, I got... Oh. This might be a late night one. Imori ordered late last night, I think. I wonder if that's the one. About 9:12 today, we got an order? I didn't get an email. Or are you saying 9 o'clock last night? Because I think I got an email last night. Supper, by the way? Oh, you would pick supper over dinner? You called it out? I did not. No, I didn't. No, I do not have an order in my email. One for Christmas. No, I did not call that out. You're dreaming. I promise you. I literally kept saying, who's going to be the first coffee order? Who's going to be the first coffee order? I did not call it out. I don't have an email. I'm checking stamps right now. Either something is broken or creature you're misremembering. I don't have anything on stamps. Nothing on stamps.com. You might be thinking of yesterday for some reason. I have nothing on stamps. I went like this when it happened. I'm telling you, you're thinking of yesterday. There's nothing on stamps.com. So either something broke, which is why I didn't get an email, and it didn't hit stamps, or you're bleeding yesterday with today. Yeah, right now, even on our own SNTR network dashboard, 0 orders, creature. You got to be remembering yesterday. Yesterday has bled into today. All the orders on the network are completed. Yeah, you got to be thinking of yesterday. Hobbits called dinner and supper. Yeah, that's true. Second breakfast. My son and my daughter have shirts that have all of the names, like first breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies. Yeah, all of them. What about 11sies? What about afternoon tea? Just ordered, refresh and confirm. Okay. So we are going to have one order today. It's going to be Chris. There it is. Just came through, Chris. Yeah, it's working. It's working. A Frickmas and a light roast to my man Chris. Thank you, Chris. I'm just back from dinner. What's the poll about? Dinner's your main meal of the day. It can be lunch or supper. It has no time frame. I don't think I've ever used it in that way. Yeah, I've never used it in that way. About 11sies, luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper. He knows about them, doesn't he? Hey, another member, Azael Alvarado. Thank you so much, very much, for coming in and becoming a member. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. Your dope and deserve dope stuff. Don't forget that when you become a member, you get a badge, you get emotes you can use in chat, and you get increased access in our Discord if you're looking for people to play with. The New World server merges is certainly a problem, and we're waiting for more news from them other than what they stated. We do have a server that we are on. We're in Syndicate on North American East Eden. If you get in our Discord, you can team up with the people there, or at least just commiserate and talk about how the game is going. And we've got that set up for you. That is something that is available to you. Mentioned you in comments. I don't know what this poll is about, but the correct answer is soda. Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Supper. That's right. Dinner as lunch is very much an up to north colloquialism. Up north? Up north. I wouldn't expect someone who says pop to understand that dinner can be lunch. I don't say pop. I see. Here's the thing. You've just miscolored me, and I take great offense to that. You assumed my vernacular. I grew up saying pop, but I've lived so long in Kentucky that I now say soda. So, max population per server? There is not max population per server. There's max active population that ranges from 2,000 to 2,500. But they do not dictate how many people can move to a server based on an actual number. It's based on number of logins at peak time. Because they don't want to have the server having long queue times. So there's not like a threshold of, oh, this many people are now on the server, it's full or whatever. You need to know the Yorkshire accent truly to get that reference. Up to north. I have never heard anybody put the T in there like that. Up to north. Never heard it. Sub or grinder? Sub. Yeah, Grinders was a place you could go eat in my hometown. You wouldn't call it a grinder. Coke as every soda is also acceptable in the South. Yeah, I didn't put that on the I didn't put that on the poll. People are angry. You know. The South will rise and come after me for this one. They're like, I like that there streamer until that one day he put up that poll. He said soda, he said pop, but I tell you what, Thelma, you're not gonna believe this. He did not put Coke on the poll. That was it. I unsubbed. I made sure to tell him too when I left. Downvoted him, but the dislikes are hidden now, so he didn't see it. A sub, a hero, or a hoagie? Sub. Yeah. Hero or hoagie, we never called it that. You know? I accept the Coke thing within the confines of Atlanta, otherwise I won't put up with it. Doesn't have to rise too much to tower over you. Just use big words. The Southern folk will be too confused to do anything. Yeah. Grinder in Massachusetts. I had to adjust to calling cold sandwiches subs. Huh. Yeah, that just wasn't a thing. Like, growing up, there was like Subway, there was like Blimpie, and there was some other place. There might even have been a place called something Hero. It might have just been called Hero hoagies? I can't remember. But we never used those terms to refer to the sandwich. You would just say, I'm going to go get a sub. Hoagies are always hot, at least in my mind. For me, a hoagie is a hot dog with just a bunch of stuff on it. If somebody would say hoagie, that's what I would picture in my mind growing up. A hoagie was a hot dog with like Sloppy Joe on it and then a bunch of other stuff. Now again, that could be a regional thing. I don't know why in the frick we thought that or called them that. Just got here, they merging servers. So they announced in their patch updates that the New World server mergers or server merges they've laid the foundation. We have no idea when they're going to do it. I was arguing that it needs to happen sooner than later, but folks started speculating that they might avoid doing it in December because there's a potential influx of players in December. So, you want to debate a burger as a sandwich? No, nobody's going to debate that. The debate would be the hot dog's the one people debate. I've never heard anybody debate burger being a sandwich. It's clearly a sandwich. I don't, you know what I'm saying? How does a po' boy fit in all this? A po' boy is a New Orleans thing, isn't it? It's a type of sandwich, isn't it, down there? What's the difference between a sandwich and a sandwich? I don't know. You're from the Midwest. Have you broke your habit of saying ope? What is that? Is a hot dog a taco? Yeah, I mean, the hot dog sandwich debate doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what difference does it make, right? Love the Halo poster. Oh, thank you. It's actually a disc plate. It's a company that we're partnered with. They're like metal posters you can hang on the wall with magnets and then swap them out. Lono doesn't debate burgers. He steals them. Can we all agree a hot dog is a sandwich? Yeah, I mean, because it's no different than a sub sandwich. You're taking it's a similar type of bread and you're putting meat in it. It's a sandwich. I don't care. That one that's a silly one. It just is silly. Why does it matter? Why would anybody say ope equals excuse me? I've never heard anybody say that. Ope or opie? How are you pronouncing it phonetically? Ope? Like hope without an H? Ope is a thing? I've Midwest. I mean, I grew up in Northern Ohio and I live in Kentucky now. I don't think that's the Midwest. The burger chicken sandwich debate is where it's at. The U.S. Department of Agriculture describes a sandwich as a meat or poultry filling between two slices of bread, a bun, or a biscuit. By that definition, sure, a hot dog is a sandwich. Yeah. It kind of does, like, oops. Oop? You say oop? Oop? What are Yin's talking about? Northern Ohio, never heard of oop. I've never heard of oop. Whoops and oops. Oop, oop. The government's not telling me what is and isn't a sandwich. Zubair's like, I will not comply. You will not tell me what is and isn't a sandwich, Uncle Sam. Ope is a Wisconsin thing for sure. It's hope minus the H. Ope. Homie, yeah, no. Nobody in Ohio said ope. No, that's not a thing there. I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm telling you it's not a thing in Ohio. I never heard a single person say ope. Now, Ohioans are known for their concise greetings because we're Northerners. We don't want to be outside for very long. So we don't even say good morning. We say morning, afternoon, evening. Like, we don't say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. We don't. We just say the time of day and we nod our head and keep on going. Morning, afternoon. It's too cold. You got to get inside. I got a little irritated at the hot dog being a taco. I don't know why. Need meat or poultry to be a sandwich? Vegans in shambles right now. Yeah, vegan tears everywhere. Vegans deserve sandwiches too. Shut up, Francine. I just picture a very obnoxious vegan as being someone named Francine. I don't know why. How many of your friends are vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. OHIO go Buckeyes. Well, we can't really talk about that. Oh my gosh. What's the streak that we lost? How many years had it been since they had lost to the... I don't even want to talk. I don't even talk about it. I'm not even a big sports ball guy, but that was a bummer. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Lost their streak. Lost their streak, baby. Hey, we rolled over. Not even talking about New World. So many great subs today. Thank you. U of M, baby. Shut the frick up. I mean, yeah, good for you. And instead of saying excuse me or I didn't hear you or I don't understand, we Ohioans say please. Please? Yeah, I didn't grow up around people doing the please thing. No. Most people from where I'm from wouldn't do that, Victor. You're right. I know that Ohioans do the please thing. They might say, huh? Or come again? Or please? Like, but yeah, the excuse me or I didn't understand you. Yeah, we definitely go down to like the shortest thing. You know, OSU 3 times in like 20 years. Yeah. There was a streak though. Wasn't there a streak? I thought it had been like 13, 14 years or something. Nothing good has ever come out of Ohio. A black hole the size of Ohio in the place of Ohio might be better for humanity. I came from Ohio. You snooty lawyer. Ope is a quick apology for a minor infraction, accidentally cutting someone off in the supermarket. Oh. It's so odd. It's just like a sound. Oh, it was 10 years. I thought it was a little bit longer. It had been 10 years since they had won. That's right. I rest my case. Ibid, Your Honor. Ibid. His point still stands. Whatever, Wheeze. Whatever. Where are you from? Huh? What are you from, like one of those states that no one actually knows where it is or how many people live there? Like Oklahoma? Or Nebraska? Where are you from, Wheeze? That's how we picture other states, by the way. If you're out there on that part of the map, we're like, I don't know, how many people live there? Like 100? What? Called New York. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're probably from Buffalo, though. You're not from the city. Nice little state out in the middle of nowhere. New York, never heard of it. East Dakota. Oh, you're from the Netherlands? Hey, Oranje. I cheer for Ned in the Euro in the world. Yo, go Ned. Go Holland. Try the Bronx. So freaking cliche. That's just cliche. I'm sorry. These are freaking cliche. Mouthy, good food eating. Am I allowed to say it? I don't even know anymore. I don't know, but I want to say it. I want to make. You're a freaking cliche, Wheeze. Oh man. I should have guessed Bronx after hearing Wheeze talk. Yeah. He doesn't sound. I'm trying to remember his voice. No, he doesn't sound like he's from the Bronx. Yeah, stares in Texan. Just DM me what you want to say. I'll relay the message. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be Abe or another person. It sucks. It really does. It sucks that just a descriptor of a person now feels dangerous. Do you know? It's like, where have we come as a society that I'm like afraid to describe a person? I'm like, I don't know. I might get in trouble for that one. Why? It's stupid. Another what? What, Lono? I have my very nice and politically correct speaking voice that I do around you people. What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, Wheeze? Streamers. Well, most of us are, aren't we? You know. Most of us are. Oh, golly. It's ridiculous. Tall? Yeah, tall. Whew. That's funny. That's funny. You've been saying what you want, no problem. Bro, there are minefields that I won't dip my toe in. For real. For real, for real. I don't do it. It's too easy to get clipped. You get clip sniped. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not trying to make it awkward. Wheezy. Come on. I have an invitation to the barbecue. You won't make it awkward for me. What the frick are you saying? You cannot do that. That's not me. You are not talking about me if you think you can make it awkward or uncomfortable for me. You freaking kidding me? That's not fair. The train is off the tracks. I don't even know if there's tracks anymore. I give you a day pass. No, Abe, no. You see, the problem is you give me a day pass, Abe, but your day pass isn't good at every store. It's not good at every store. Like, who gave you permission to talk like that? His name's Abe. Where's he from? Oh, I don't know. No. Yeah, I'm not playing that game. Yeah, you see here, down here in the fine print, this is not valid. This isn't valid everywhere. I've seen the guys do the videos. They're in pretty. I think they're kind of in poor taste, where they give the guys the card to say the word. I'm like, oh, that's not fun. We shouldn't be doing that. And the one guy was smart enough, like, you need to give me another one. Oh man. Oh. Does anyone say, you know what I mean, after every sentence is common here? I do that. That's filler. So my brain doesn't, to avoid saying or I will do filler statements. So you'll hear me do this where I'm in the middle of a statement or a sentence and I start to read chat. As I read chat, it sabotages thought. So what my brain does is it grabs filler phrases. I'll say right, or you know what I mean? Do it all the time. I do it all the time. It's just filler so that I don't go, Breaking news, streamer canceled for the second time. That's right. It can get messy. You got to tone it down for the folks. Too bad you aren't my friend. If I can talk about what happens on Grindr, you can say it. Yeah, I don't think so. I've not seen any of that. Lono's the king of I've tried to stop. It's really difficult when you're doing constant talk and filling of sound. It's very difficult to not do it. You know what I mean? Is a single word created by Lono as far as I'm concerned. That's good. Oof. That was a good foot pop. Lono repeats himself all the time. Do you know what's funny is me repeating myself? Do you want to know why I do that? There's two reasons that I do that. Number one, it's a habit that I picked up from the guys I used to play Call of Duty with. They were always potheads, and I had to repeat everything. I'm not kidding. I would have to say things twice. Guys, let's go over to A. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's go over to A. I would have to say it twice. I'd have to make my point twice. Very, very commonly with those guys. And then when I first started streaming on Purple, they didn't have low latency. So there was this extended period of time where I would say something and was sort of waiting for chat to respond. So it felt unnatural. So I would repeat myself. I would say something to the effect of, do you guys know what it's like when you go to the grocery store and they're all out of produce? You guys know what that's like? Kind of like, you know when you go to the grocery store and there's nothing there on the shelves? You know what that's like, right? You see what I'm saying? There was this unnatural pause because if you don't remember, in the early days of Purple, it was like a minute to a minute and a half delay. It was long. It was super long. So it felt awkward because you can tell by the way that I communicate, I'm just constantly talking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, that has obviously served me in this environment, and it also really helped when we got low latency options on Purple, and we have low latency here, so that my interaction with you is so much more seamless. So I developed really, really bad speech patterns and habits back then, and it still stuck with me to a certain degree. I didn't get that. Can you repeat that? I had a voice and speech class. I converted the into a facial expression to show that I'm struggling to think of what I want to say. I've tried to move away from the mic. I've tried to give myself a physical movement to quiet myself when I have those brain pauses or those breaks in speech. I just did it. I just kind of lean away from the mic. That would be way harder on you. The back and forth is what made me stick with you. I'm telling you, it was very, very different back then. Like, the technology advanced at the same time that I got better in the live environment. If you go back and you know, or I'm sorry, no. If you go back and you watch my old videos and Q&As and stuff, oh, jeez. It's like a different person. The production, the energy, the speed with which I speak, it was so flat. It's very, very different back then. Lag really ruins the experience, and no, a taco is not a sandwich. Oh, that's good. That's good. Why have you been cursed with difficult teammates in gaming? let's do Jackbox again this week, Hilly. Let's really co-host it up. Let's own it. Let's own it. It should be good. It should be very, very fun. I do that though. I do double stamp. You know what double stamping is? I'm like, oh, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'll do that. I will 100% like double the last phrase or whatever. I do that a lot. I remember one of the first times I was watching you, I said something about how you interacted with people, and you surprisingly didn't ban me. Glad to see you worked on yourself, and also seeing chat evolve to meet your talk show style. Wait, you said something about how I interacted with people. What did you say? Do you remember what you said? I was very cantankerous back then. I was a lot. It was easy to provoke or irritate me. I was a lot more irritable back then. I checked the description. It's fine, creature. I saw it a little bit ago. I think I bumped it to the front. You do that a lot. No. It's not the last word. It's the final phrase or thought. Oh man, dude, it's gonna be so great to go to the mall. I've not been there in a while. It's gonna be a blast. Like, I'll do that. I'll kind of grab the last phrase or the last claim. I'll say it twice. It was something like, the way you respond to people comes off as rude, even if you don't mean it that way. It was like the first week of me watching you. What time frame was that? Where were we? The best way to couch it time-wise is, where were we in Destiny? I was literally going to make a 10-hour supercut of every time Lono saying, I don't understand. When I'm playing a video game? That wouldn't take you very long. I don't understand. I'm glad I wasn't around for old Lono. I would have been banned so fast. It was after you played AC Origins. Yeah. Okay, so that was around the time that I got clip sniped for my comments about Kevin Spacey. That was not a fun time. A lot of people messing with me back then, harassing and provoking and trying to hurt my business. It was not a fun time to stream. That was one of the first and most real times I came to the full realization that there were people who would actively work to ruin your career, and not just trolls, but other streamers. It was a very apparent. It was so disturbing and destabilizing. I hated it. I did not like streaming back then. It was not fun. Makes a lot of sense with the vibe and what it was like in hindsight. Yeah, I was very, very defensive back then. Yeah, FinFreak was a mod back then. It was so frustrating because it was a perfect example of like just the truth not mattering. The truth just didn't matter. People bring that up all the time. They're like, well, you talk about scrubbing timelines and you got rid of all these clips. I'm like, of course I got rid of the clips. People were misrepresenting my position and I had spoken before the full story broke. So you're pulling chronological trickery. I make a comment at 7 in the morning, the full story breaks at 1 in the afternoon, and I look like an idiot. So of course I had those clips deleted. They were 10 seconds and ripped out of context. This is different than deleting entire timelines where you made public claims about another person. That's not the same at all. I clarified my thoughts the same day and the next day, and I still had other streamers coming after me. Like, what was his name? Blue Ranger and Ladman. What's his Legendary Ladman or whatever his name is? They were both, like, the next day coming after me. Like, frick you both. DM me. Be men. This childish high school gossip crap. Use your friggin' DMs and ask me what in the world's going on, you children. I couldn't, it was so upsetting. It was like, these are people that you rated and helped and were friends with. And they just immediately, I saw a clip, he must be a terrible person. It's like, ugh. I'm telling you. It is a breath of fresh air to not have to interact with that community anymore. It is just, I just can't. I can't do it. He was the one saying you stole a lanyard. Yeah, it just readily no care about fact or truth. Just a lie spreader. Yeah, whatever. I don't suffer people with zero integrity. I don't know. It was so early in the morning, it was so frustrating to watch it play out. Yeah, because I had people coming in throughout the rest of the day, Finn. We were in Destiny, and then we ended up playing Assassin's Creed later that day, and I had people coming in. I didn't know that I had been clip sniped and was on some forum. So I had people coming in, they're like, what's your problem? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've clarified my thoughts. I'm not defending the guy. What are you talking about? I didn't know that this forum existed. It sucked. It was so frustrating. You don't have to deal with that community. You're stuck with a bunch of master trolls. Yeah, that's right. Like, I was talking with Creature on the phone last night, and he said something about optics. And I was like, I don't care about optics anymore. We're not beholden to anybody. I don't care. Like, I don't even care if it hurts a potential sponsor. I don't give a frick about that anymore. I don't. Like, I don't care about the optics, you know? And Creature's good to as a producer to think through the optics. So I wasn't like irritated with him, but it was like, bro, I don't care about that anymore. I don't. I'm not beholden to anybody. You have no power. You take their power away when you're not beholden to them. Like the hubris that they think people answer to them. It's like, I don't answer to you. Who the frick are you? You're not a deity. You're not a king or a dictator. You're just some angry person on Twitter. You got no sway over me now. You set me free. Might have been one of your biggest mistakes. All those guys backbited. If you could see some of their mod chats. What do you mean what do you mean all those guys backbited? If you could see their mod chats. You want to expand on that? I watched a guy in the VTuber community get stabbed in the back by 8 of his friends. They hushed up real quick when he came back with receipts of conversations and asked to move on with egg on their face. How familiar. Like, look at that. A group and then they go quiet. So familiar, Ashen. It's crass. We're keeping the sponsors happy. I'm not talking about existing sponsors. I would never sully a relationship with Displate or 80s Tees. I wouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't care about a potential sponsor being like, we really didn't like this phrase that you used in your... Then shove your product in your ear. I don't care. I don't want to deal with you. You just sound like another limp coward. I'm not interested in working with you then. I'm not. I don't need your money. You understand? So take your virtue signaling and your limp cowardice and try to put that in the bank. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not beholden to you. I don't care if you're like, oh, you're problematic or the topics you're choosing or the... Well, then fine. You can take your product and go somewhere else. I don't need you. I've been trying to implement that mentality. Ricky Gervais says it in that Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee episode. He's like, if you are not beholden to anybody, you are immediately more interesting. You're so uninteresting. You're just another bland, plain t-shirt. Just like everybody else, towing the line, scared to say anything because you're beholden to this idea that, like, I'll be cast out, judged, or slammed. I know a few of the Rare Drop mods, I've seen some of the chats, they all hate each other and talk junk, but when they all talk, they're really nice. Well, that adds so much meat to the bones of what I said in my one video. I said it's all fake. All the friendships are fake. If anyone wonders why I knew so much, that's why. I was a little curious why you knew so much. Why won't people out the story then, Aaron? Why won't anybody go forward with the true story about the night at Charlie's? I don't get that. Why is everybody towing the line on that? I refuse to get my hands dirty and sling mud because my observation of it was so brief. But there are people who know and saw and witnessed and have seen other evidences of it. Why don't those people say anything? It drives me absolutely crazy. You cowards. You absolute cowards. The insane thing was they tried to canceling over bringing light. He brought up he exposed a doxing group. Some apologize, others blocked. Everyone's scared of the blowback. What blowback, man? Aaron, you do what you got to do, but you get my story in their hands and just be like, it's clear the winds are changing here. Tell the truth. We'll try to bury anyone that speaks up. You know this. People should, yeah, that's just such a freaking shame, dude. That there are multiple people that could literally blow the whole freaking lid off. So annoying. It is so annoying. The only thing I can think of that would try to be hush-hush about it? Yeah. We need real men and women of valor and courage. We do. We need people to do. We just do. We need people to do the right thing. And I told my wife last night. I said I would do everything in my power to help, because I could say, here's my narrative, here's my platform. Like, you're not in danger. They don't have the power that you think they do. Break the cycle, expose the villains. Like, it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. You could literally break the cycle and expose real villainous behavior, real treachery. And it would make perfect sense of what happened to me. I could probably get my freaking channel back if the right people spoke up. I could get my sponsors back. I could get my part of my professional life back if just a few people had the courage and the nobility to do the right thing. Oh, it drives me nuts. He exposed them. The talent studio thanked him. Then when their talent got mad, they walked it back and tried to make him into a monster. Nobody bought it, and then he came with receipts. Yeah, that's always funny to me that people, I guess what people don't count on you doing that? I don't know. I touch on some of this tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode is like the night of the cancel. I touch on some of it. Like what they were scared of me coming out on the defense. All of their behavior makes sense if you think of it in that realm. Like, they thought I was going to come out swinging because I could have, but fear won. Fear won that night. Christina's like, Grinder escapades, what's going on in here? I wish I could speak from a first-person perspective, but I've just seen chats and have had convos. I'm almost begging, Aaron. Like, there's a part of me that's moved on. I talk about that in tomorrow's video. Like, there's a part of me that's moved on, but it's also like, how could you not? How could you sit by and watch this happen when you know the truth? How? It kills me. I'm telling you, this is how power works. power corrupts. Like these people are literally staying quiet about genuine instances of bad stuff because they're scared of the fallout. They're scared of what these men would do. Just unbelievable how even today that power, that manipulation holds sway today. That's insane to me. How does that not prove to you that something else is going on? The fact that people are like, they know stuff. They're like, we don't want to say a word. Jiminy Christmas. Think of my wife and children, for crying out loud. Think of what you could do for them and me with just a couple of honest, willing people to come form like, this is all very related. I don't see anybody associated with the conference coming out against them. They can't lose backers. Right, there's so many handshakes that have happened that have likely kept this thing just under wraps. It's just awful. It's just freaking awful. Don't worry, all truth comes to light. Yeah, I don't even know about that, Aaron. My knowledge is limited. Yeah, my knowledge is limited. What I know is enough to completely make sense of everything. What I know makes sense of everything. That's why I keep telling people it was an act of transference. It was an act of transference. It was an act of transference. Like, I keep trying to establish that. It's like, if somebody felt that they couldn't expose the real wrongdoer, it would take the slightest instance to set them off, and they'd pour out all their fury on that guy. It's why the dialogue about me is so hot. It's why the descriptions of me don't make sense. It's because it's transference. A real man in a position of power abused that power. And the reason that the one individual won't come forward is because she used it. She very, very likely used it for blackmail to get good treatment. Her silence has been bought, so she feels as guilty as the rest. So that's why it's like a standoff. It's like, no, everybody gets shot if anybody comes forward. Everybody gets shot if anybody comes forward with the truth. They all get pulled into it. Like, she can't come forward and say, because she used it. She basically used it as an advantage and then ruined me. So, like, she can't come forward and say that. If you come forward and say that, you're admitting to horrendous things. You'll never see it. You'll never see it. Like, yeah, this awful thing happened to me. I use it for blackmail and commercial and business advantage. And then I embellish stories about this guy as an act of transference. You're never going to see that. You're never going to see that. But it would make perfect sense of everything that happened. It would be like that missing puzzle piece. Ka-tink, and the picture would make sense. You'd be like, now I see. Now I see why this person reacted the way that they did and exaggerated and hurt this guy and wailed on him for 2 years privately. It all makes sense now. We may hate each other, but at least we're millionaires and run the show. All right. My wife has always said money changes people. She's always said that. She's like, money changes people. Yes, Ashen. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Yeah? Pretty much. Just stand by. Watch it happen. What an awful state to be in, living in a shroud of lies. There was a trio there that's not a trio anymore, and one walking away makes sense. The other two not doing anything together anymore doesn't, at least surface level. Eugene, I'm telling you, it's hedging. It's hedging. You're hedging your bets. Right? You're hedging your bets. If this all gets detonated, I need something to hold on to when it's all over. They're hedging. There's a psychological betrayal of what has been going on, because you wouldn't build what they've built and then suddenly start doing what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense if they're hedging. It's like, why are you hedging? What are you worried about? They're worried about destruction. They're worried about detonation. There's a reason the big guy walked. Right. There's a reason that the guy that came to YouTube took it out of his Twitter profile. Nobody wants to be attached to the potential fallout. Nobody. You're not talking about that trio? What trio are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know what trio you're talking about then, Eugene. Hate it when we're vague. Yeah, I know. Money doesn't change people. It just shows you a clear version of who they really are. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, well, think about it, Eugene. I talk about him in tomorrow's video. I talk about him in tomorrow's video. There's not a doubt in my mind. There's not. I think I'm more confident than ever now that he's like, what the frick? I don't know. I think somebody said he indicated that he watched my video. I don't know how you could watch that video and be like, the frick did you pull me into? I would have been furious if I was him. I have a brand and 1 million followers. You pulled me in on this. You pulled me in on this, and this is the truth. There's a whole nother side to this. I guarantee you that video didn't sit well with him. Now, obviously, these guys are going to come out and be like, we just believed our friends. That's the way that they kind of dodged the bullet. That's the way they dodged the bullet, but I guarantee you, and I'm disappointed in him, but what's he supposed to do? His brand is so big now. What's he supposed to come out and say? I'm sorry that I backed this and helped ruin this guy? He knows things. Why won't he help me then? That is so frustrating. Help me out, bro. Help me out. You're not even over there anymore. Who cares? Get out the bat. You hit me with it once, pull it back out of the freaking closet and swing it. Come on, bro. Who's left? Why aren't their friends friends? Who was the power play? But that's what I mean, Eugene. I don't know. Nobody seemed to benefit from it at all. What's your theory? I'm genuinely curious. I haven't been able to piece it together. There's a list 3 miles long of people that know that won't help. Why are you dependent on him? Well, because he could endure it, creature. I think other people are right to be scared. They couldn't endure it. He could endure it. He could walk out and be like, listen, I'm a family man, I got a wife, I got a son, and this guy didn't deserve what happened to him. Based on the facts, we should be helping him rebuild for the sake of his family. And he could weather that. Nobody'd be like, how dare you? They'd be like, wait, what are you talking about? And he could talk about it. At least they could do is retract their statements. Oh, they're never going to do that because they deleted them. Any of this comes out, St. Jude leaves. This is their moneymaker. People won't light him up as long as you don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't underestimate, not typing this in public. Okay. Don't underestimate my olive branch. Don't underestimate it. I know I'm not huge. I know I'm not massive. But if I extended an olive branch to anybody that tried to fix this, the public would... That would very much affect the public's view of it. They'd be like, wait a minute. Eugene, you've got it, but you got the wrong dude. You got it. Very close, but you got the wrong dude. You're on it. You've smoked it out and sniffed it out, but it would be why one of them stepped down. And then you've got your pieces to the puzzle. You remember 2 years ago, someone DM'd me? What? Wheeze? Are you serious? Rick. It freaking kills me. Why? Why is everybody being quiet then? You could make perfect sense of what happened to me. You just let my life and my family burn? It's kind of an open secret. Ugh, that community is more disgusting than I thought. That's terrible. I didn't know that this many people knew. That's insane. That's insane to me. John told me everyone talks. Right, and think about that, Aaron. I've never considered this. It makes sense, right? Everybody was spreading that story, and they used my story to cloud the waters. And that's why my story was puffed up into this way worse thing. Because that story is a person in a position of power. That story is an instance of somebody harassing another person. Like, it actually is potentially, I don't even know about assault, but there's potential of that as well. See what I'm saying? Like, that's a real story that hashtag #MeToo would run with. So what do you take with mine? Well, you had to gather other people and, like, stack up very weird or benign things to make it like, he's awful. And it's like, they did that to distract from the thing that was down here that was way worse. That's frustrating, bro. That's frustrating. Like, I'm definitely in a mental place where I'm moving from it. I'm feeling better about it. I'm glad that the Say No to Rage story is coming to a close. But frick, that is just uniquely frustrating to know that many people know, and no one will come forward and say anything to be like, she's a liar and a blackmailer. And he is a villain. Like, you guys have got this all wrong. This has all been smoke and mirrors. Like, it's like a Shakespearean epic. I'm new in losses. What happened? Quick rundown. I used to stream on the Purple platform, and I lost that channel because of lies that were spread about me. And come to find out, there was the group that did it to cover up something far worse. There's a reason she left this. Why did she leave? What the frick? There's a reason she left. Why? This is frickin'. You are blowing my actual mind right now. Aaron, you are blowing my mind. Why won't anybody say anything? They just accept it? They just let it go? A villain, a habitual liar? You're just like, it's fine? No. I'm not talking about you, Wheeze. I'm not talking about you. There are people that have found out in the way that you found out, Wheezy. I don't expect people like you that found out word of mouth to do anything. But frick's sake, everybody that spoke out against me, almost all of them were speaking out on things that they heard. Why wouldn't anybody speak out about this? She burned a ton of bridges, a pathological liar. Well, yeah, I know the last part. I know that. I actually talk about that in tomorrow's video. I can't believe nobody would come forward and step up and try and help me then. Like, that's insane. That's just insanity. That's insanity. That nobody steps up and says, listen, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not a content creator, but this person's not trustworthy. And here's the real story. Jiminy Christmas. You could have saved me and my family a mountain of heartache and frustration. People that stayed quiet, that had direct hand knowledge to that, they should be ashamed. That is so awful. I did not realize that this many people were in tune with the reality and the truth of the situation, and nobody said a word. Go to the press anonymously, for frick's sake. Yeah, you would need firsthand knowledge, Wheeze. You would need firsthand knowledge. You couldn't go to the press and be like, somebody told me this. Yeah, no, Eugene, there was other reasons that they were having troubles, and they've opened up about that. It was issues with trying to have kids and stuff. It was very, very different. Is that what all their tears were about? Relief? I talk about that tomorrow. I'll put that in context for you. I can't believe it blows my freaking mind. Blows my mind. I am half tempted. I am half tempted to put together a very short Twitter video and be like, there are people that know the truth. There are people that know the reality and the blackmailing and the true villains, and they're scared to come forward. And it would make perfect sense of everything that happened to me. And it would give me grounds to get everything back. And you're all staying quiet. That's my issue. Everything I know is hearsay, but Lono confirmed a ton of what I heard. That's what I'm saying, Aaron. There is literally no way that you know what you know, and there aren't people with direct knowledge to what happened, just sitting quietly, watching my entire life burn in the city streets, and you won't say anything. How are you feeling? What's the goal? I feel fine, Zubair. The goal would be to tell the truth. Do you know what that would do for me? We're trying to put this thing to bed, not start it over. But that could be putting it to bed. Let's put this thing to bed. The architect of this thing is a pathological known liar, and no one will expose it. And one of the men is a villain, and no one will expose it. What the frick is wrong with people? It blows my mind. It does. I didn't know that it was this known, Aaron. Aaron is blowing my mind. I did not know that this many people knew about it. Didn't know. That's shameful. That's shameful that this many people are just staying quiet. How many people have been paid off and in what ways? What the frick? Would showing screenshots of the convos to the public make a difference? All the third-party convos about these things? Yeah, here's my logic on it, Abe. I can think about this logically. And for Aaron to know what he knows, and for this many people to know, that comes from a place of direct knowledge. That where there's smoke, there's fire, right? The smoke is spread from an actual fire. So there are people that know about the corruption, the blackmail, the lies, the manipulation. They know about it. And they're refusing to say anything. They let me burn. And they know, they're like, they know that it's not true, and they know what the truth is, and they just stayed silent. There are people with direct knowledge. There's no way Aaron and the number of people that have said, yeah, it's known, it's a known thing, it's a known thing. There's no way that many people know without people having direct knowledge. It simply isn't possible. It stands to reason that there are men and women who have direct knowledge to the corruption and refuse to say anything. All these streamers who jumped on canceling you, they believe what they were told, however false it was, and they went through with it. Yeah, like, how do we know that people like that? Like Sarah, like Sarah and her husband. How do we not know that they weren't just totally duped, and they've had to go through all the crap they've gone through because they think we're helping these people do a good thing? Crazy how it took Lono to start this story to finish the puzzle they were working on. Who wants a soda pop and a sandwich? My man, that was good. That was good. Count to 100 before you do anything. You need a solid strategy. If I've been anything, Jaggy, I've been patient. I can be patient. I can be patient. I'm just... It's news to me. It's just news. It's staggering and sort of sad news that many people know. And they just all sat back and didn't do a thing. Who knows how many rumors about the real villain were instead ascribed to you? Yeah. Stories about blocking exits and stuff, right, Zubair? You, like, handshaking, emotional crying about a guy blocking exits. It wasn't me, so who did that, right? Exactly. The transference. It's like, what the frick, man? Wouldn't she stop with the blaming you for every inconvenience online, though? Well, Water Marlin, I don't know how to couch that. I mean, most of what she does, I think she's acting out of pain. I think she has genuine pain and trauma, and I think the situation with me, her throwing in with it, I think it activated a lot of that, and now she acts out of that pain and trauma. And I empathize and sympathize with that. As much as she's, misrepresented me and what I've done, I'm like, she's acting out of pain. I don't see her behavior as, like, malicious aimed at me. It's acting out of pain. That's what I see. That's why I've been a little bit more gentle with her and her husband. Because I don't think that they were architects. I think they went along with it, and it blew up in everybody's faces. And I think it's been very hard for her in particular, because I think she has actually gone through some horrible things, and it's been very activating for her, and she acts out of that pain. So I've been a lot more gentle about that. But the pathological liar and the real man, the real villain in the story, I don't have a whole lot of a genteel posture toward them. I don't. I do my best. But all right, you freaking blew my mind. I got to send you guys over to this premiere. We didn't bump it. It's premiering right now. It's how to have a disagreement. Please click the link in chat. There's a junk ton of you here. There's over 200 of you here, and we have a premiere over on SNTR Presents. Don't forget, SNTR Presents is where the Say No to Rage story will continue tomorrow, and I actually speak about a lot of these things tomorrow in that video. So go over and support this premiere. It's super, super helpful to me when you guys go and watch these premieres. They're not that long. There's a live chat. It's much like what we're doing right now. So feel free to go over there and, I don't know, keep hamming it out, hashing out, whatever the frick. And today is how to have a disagreement. So, all right. Yeah, the link is pinned and it's in chat, and the premiere is going right now with its countdown, and I'll see you guys over there in the chat.